Sarah Vela claims she was forced out of the PTA because another mother spread lies about her. Kathy Love says she was misled about getting reimbursed for art supplies and is countersuing for $400.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Good day, everyone.
Good day, Your Honor.
This is the case of Vela versus Love. Ms. Vela, you are suing Ms. Love for PTA membership fees in the amount of $150, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Love, you're countersuing Ms. Vela for $400, which you say the plaintiff owes you for supplies that she led you to believe would be reimbursed.
That's correct.
All right, let's start with you, Ms. Vela. Explain to the court why you believe Ms. Love owes you $150.
Well, Your Honor, I am in charge of the PTA at our daughter's elementary school. I have been for the past 2 years since we moved there. And the defendant came in mid-semester last year, and she wanted to be a part of the community. She had a big sob story about her husband divorcing and stalking her or something like that. I took her under my wing, I introduced her to everyone, and I made it very clear that she was a volunteer with the PTA. She received a pamphlet that we all receive saying that you need 100 hours of volunteer work before you can become a full-fledged member, and she agreed. She was very happy to offer her assistance. She is an artist, and we were very happy to have her. We were doing our annual musical, and she offered to do the backdrop for us. And then things...
She offered to do the backdrop?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said, yes, go ahead.
I said, we would love to. We all offer our own expertise. Some of us are, artists. Some of us help with chaperoning. That was her expertise.
Okay. So go ahead and get to the part where you think she owes you $150.
Well, Your Honor, all of a sudden, I started hearing rumors that she was spreading about me. She was saying that I promised her that I would pay her back, that I would get the school to pay her back for her fees for this backdrop that she did. Your Honor,
all right.
She was...
Ms. Love, I want to come to you right now because I want you to respond to what Ms. Vela has testified to thus far. What is your response?
Thank you. My response is that I don't owe her anything simply because her version of things is false.
What's your version?
My version is that I did come to school. I moved here in the summer. It was not mid-semester. She only became aware of me mid-semester because my daughter got the lead in the school play, which traditionally had gone to her daughter. So she became aware of my presence at that time. I did volunteer to do the backdrop. I thought that was a great idea, but I initially asked her about reimbursement, and she manipulated me into thinking that I would be reimbursed. I will say she never promised me, but I have the text to show you that I sent her.
I'd like to see that, please.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the only one manipulating anyone is the defendant.
Thank you.
She has been bullying me since the day she arrived. I had a knit close friends of these mothers. We have been together for many years, running things smoothly. Then she snuck her way in like a little serpent and started trying to get in, infiltrate ears. She's trying to rise the ranks. She flat out said that she didn't want me to be the queen bee anymore, and she was gunning for my position.
That is simply
Let me look
not
at these
true.
text messages. So, Ms. Love, you say this is a message between you and Ms. Vela. Hey, girl, I just bought all the supplies for the backdrop. I'm going to save the receipts and give them to you or the school for reimbursement. Oh, no response.
Right, no
Cricket.
response for 8 days.
Hey, I never heard back from you about getting paid back. Is that what you cover? And then there is a response. The PTA will definitely reimburse for members.
For members, Your Honor.
Why then, when she says, is that what you cover? And you can see clearly from the text, it is her intention to spend the money. You respond in the affirmative and say they'll definitely reimburse for members.
She wasn't a member, period. I was trying to reinforce what she got in her pamphlet. You are a volunteer. Once you complete those 100 hours, we all have the same information. No one has ever had an issue like this. We all know we're volunteers until we put in that time.
Coming up.
Drives me crazy is, in some of these schools, the mamas acting worse to one another than the kids. And it's ridiculous. Lot of drama with the mamas.
And later,
He purchased a snake. He comes back 3 months later, barges into my shop looking like a bearded dragon, and
A bearded dragon.
we're back with the case of Sarah Vela and Kathy Love, who are arguing over PTA membership fees and unpaid expenses.
So, Ms. Love, I do want to understand from you, when you got this, was it your understanding you would be reimbursed? Did you think you were a member? What was your understanding?
I did know that I wasn't a member.
You did know you weren't a member?
Yes.
Okay.
But the positive vibe behind her messages and the positive reinforcement that she gave me, whenever I asked her about reimbursing, she would nod or not directly answer me.
Did you know the rules were that you needed to be a member to be reimbursed? Were you aware of that?
Not until later. Not until
When is later?
after I brought this text to the other women in the group to ask what was happening. That is her version of me going and talking behind her back. That's not at all what happened.
So you took the text and said, hey, I bought all this art supplies, and she's saying that members will be reimbursed. I'm not a member. What do you think's going to happen?
They said, you probably will not be reimbursed. But they did admit to me that she should have made that clear from the beginning.
So why didn't you just take the art supplies back and not do the backdrop?
It was already done by that point. I had volunteered my hours, my nights, my weekends for 4 weeks.
And
I was happy to volunteer my hours.
Bro, and now we've had to leave.
Stop. Your mouth is running a mile a minute, and I cannot keep up. What I'm trying to understand is this. When a new family is welcomed into a school, and the great thing about it is I actually have a son who is middle school age, so I understand this wheelhouse. I'm trying to figure out, Ms. Love, whether you took it upon yourself to just make this backdrop to impress them so that you could be a member, because a lot of that goes around in these schools. One mom trying to impress the other mom, and then the PTA, all the moms who are at the head of the things are the top dogs, and you know, I understand that. The thing that drives me crazy is, in some of these schools, the mamas acting worse to one another than the kids. And it's ridiculous. You ever heard that old school phrase, Sean, save the drama for your mama? Yes. That's exactly how these schools are. Lot of drama with the mamas. And that's what I see here.
Your Honor, I honestly tried to avoid that drama. What she's claiming is back talk and me spreading rumors was just me trying to clarify things. And it was at that point that I realized these mothers already had ill feelings toward her. They went to the principal. I did not. I had nothing to do.
Your Honor, ask her who's in charge of the PTA now.
I had nothing to do with
ask
her
who had to leave and who now has the job that she wanted.
Listen, you all know how ridiculous this is, right?
It's the principle of the thing, Your Honor.
No. You have spent time on this. And look, I get what principle is, but $150?
It's for my daughter, Your Honor. She can do whatever she wants to me. My daughter was crying. I had to explain to her because mom was being bullied. That's why none of the kids are inviting her to anything. That's why she can't have fun at the play.
But you know what would have been a better example, in this court's opinion, to your daughter than to sue another mother for $150 is to set an example that when you are in an uncomfortable position, that you reach out to a mother, you sit down, you have a conversation, sometimes an uncomfortable conversation about where your differences lie, and you figure out how to come to an amenable solution.
I understand, Your Honor, but I felt I was being bullied.
I don't think you all did that.
I felt I was being bullied, and I wanted to stand up for it.
This feels very immature to me. It feels very immature. I do not think you set good examples for the children. I think this is silly. I think at the end of the day, you were coming into a new school trying to make a good impression. The problem is that you're telling me that you understood that you were not a member.
I did understand that.
And before you went and spent $400 on art supplies, you should have been clear before you spent the money. What your text message says is that after you spent the money and you tell me already built it, then you say this is what you cover.
I understand your point.
You too many days late and $400 short of recovering. And as for you, Ms. Vela, $150. You were the PTA, the head of the PTA. You want your money back?
It's honestly not about the money, Your Honor.
It cost you more to come to court.
Correct. Correct.
And in my opinion, you did not set the example you should set for your daughter. Standing up for yourself takes on many forms. Ridiculous, unnecessary litigation is not the way you show your child how you stand up for yourself. In this case, neither one of you deserve to collect a dime. And that is the determination of this court. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled. Both cases are dismissed.
I'm sorry that this turned out this way.
It didn't have to come to this. It was never about the money. It was never about the money.
This is unfortunate. I'm sorry about your daughter.
The courtroom.
Coming up,
I have a little scientist, my son, too, so he immediately knew that that snake you had was not the $4,100 snake you thought you paid for.
Exactly.
Once you find that out, what happened?
I take it to his shop, and he doesn't want to give me the difference.
Kevin Markham claims he was sold a mislabeled snake, and he has the genetic test to prove it. Lawrence Bailey says it was an honest mistake, but the plaintiff was happy at the time of purchase.
This is the case of Markham versus Bailey. Mr. Markham, you are suing Mr. Bailey for $3,700. You say it's the cost difference between a snake that you went into his store to buy and the one you ended up getting, as well as the genetic testing fees to discover what you really had bought. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And Mr. Bailey, you say you sold him the snake that he wanted.
Correct. I have the best reputation in South Florida.
Who told you that?
And
Florida
my
people?
customers tell me that.
Oh, they're from
and
Florida.
And the money in my drawer tells me that, too.
All right, gentlemen. Mr. Markham, tell the court why you went into Mr. Bailey's store, what you were looking for.
Oh, yes, Your Honor. So my son's birthday was approaching. I had got a bonus at work because I had been doing really good. I wanted to get him a very, very special snake. Sunset one is the one I found online as being like the top of the top, the Michael Jordan of snakes. So I went down there, found one that said Sunset. He charged me $4,100. I bought it.
Okay, you take it home to your son, and what happens?
He loves the snake. He has it for about approximately 3 months. He invites a classmate over to doing a project. He's kind of bragging to his friend. His friend is like, this isn't, I think this is a lavender. My son's like, nah, my dad wouldn't do that. I Googled what a lavender was. It's really hard to tell the difference between
All right, I'm
someone
looking
who's
at the evidence now, and I see the difference, but I also see a similarity. So your son's friend is, I love these classmates. I have a little scientist, my son, too, so he immediately knew that that snake you had was not the $4,100 snake you thought you paid for.
Exactly.
Coming up,
He comes back 3 months later, barges into my shop, looking like a bearded dragon.
A bearded dragon.
we're back with a dispute between Kevin Markham and pet shop owner Lawrence Bailey over a fraudulent snake.
And so then once you find that out, what happened?
I get the genetic testing done on it. I take it to his shop, and he doesn't want to give me the difference. But I can't return. He says he'll take the snake back or make an exception, even though he has a no refund policy. I just want the difference between what it should have cost and what I actually paid, as well as the genetic
So,
testing.
Mr. Bailey, I want to hear from you now. I want you to respond to his testimony.
Okay. Well, back in February, I was helping a customer that owned a bearded snake, and they were buying some crickets, and he rudely interrupts me and asks me where are my baby ball pythons. I said, well, geez, that guy couldn't even wait 1 minute. I said, okay, sir, they're right over there. I pointed to the case, and I said, you sure? He said, that's exactly what I want. He purchased a snake. He comes back 3 months later, barges into my shop, looking like a bearded dragon, and...
A bearded dragon.
Well, that's kind of like one of my reptiles that I sell. He kind of looks like one of them anyway. So I said, look, I'll give you the money back. Just bring the snake back in.
Your Honor, I didn't bring it back in, but he didn't want to just see the snake. He would only accept me returning the snake completely.
It's reasonable to assume, since you have a pet store, that they're going to get attached to it. So he probably didn't want to return that particular snake because now his son had already developed a relationship. So are you saying, Mr. Bailey, you never even wanted to see the snake at all?
Well, I do
Unless
want to
he
see the
returned
snake.
it?
I want to make sure it's the one I sold him. I can't just give
That
him
seems
money.
like a crucial step that didn't happen here.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
Do you ever reach out to your supplier and say, I've got a customer and I sold him a sunset for $4,100. He's now had genetic testing and says that it is a lavender.
I did not, because I don't have the snake to take back to the supplier. And I don't know. I need to see the snake.
This is what will drive. Hold on. This is what will drive a judge crazy. He just needs to see the snake. I am ordering. It has been determined by this court and ordered by this court. Mr. Markham, you take the snake back into the shop. Allow him to take a picture of the snake. Since you were going to refund the $4,100, Mr. Bailey, refund him the difference between the cost of a lavender and the cost of the sunset that he paid for. So then the $200 that he paid to have the test that he should not have paid, and then if you've been overcharged from your supplier, you have the evidence to go deal with them. Am I clear?
Clear.
Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $3,700.
I
Between
came
that
by
little
saying,
bearded
"You're a
dragon
shyster."
that you are, I have the best
Yeah.
reputation, and you're
My
not even a
Yelp
customer.
reviews
You may
are
now
uncanny.
exit the courtroom.
Oh, thank you. You first.
Bearded dragon. Sure.
Danita Christian claims a relationship with her trainer left her with more than bad memories after it ended. Marcus Talley claims he doesn't owe the plaintiff a dime.
All rise.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Christian versus Talley. Miss Christian, you are suing Mr. Talley for $4,600. They're for missed training sessions and lost wages because you claim to have contracted an STD from him.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, well, explain.
So this is a previous partner of mine through whom I undoubtedly, based on the testing dates, which I brought in here, contracted chlamydia through, and then I was not able to be on an adult film shoot. That's my main source of income. So because I tested positive before that shoot, I lost $4,000. I met him because he was my trainer at the gym, and after I told him that he had given me chlamydia, he ghosted me. He stopped responding to my texts and emails. He cleared out from the gym when I would come.
Wait a minute, you said it was your trainer at the gym. Well, it was obviously more than that.
So he would train me, and then he would ask me out to lunch.
I wouldn't ask her out to lunch. It was breakfast. It was the last session that I had in the morning, and we would go out. I asked her to be one of my clients in the beginning, just because I noticed that she did some work. She had a good following on her Instagram. I just thought it would be good to promote my business that way.
Oh, so you really saw her at the gym and was like, she's got a lot of followers. I'm gonna try to train her.
No, so a friend of mine, like the other trainers at the gym, they're like, oh yeah, like you should go talk to the clients, because that's what we do at the gym when we see people come in. We just kind of go build rapport with them, talk to them, communicate with them. But that just comes into play later on down the road with the whole follower situation. I just wanted to train her to see if she wanted to do some more training sessions. And
All right, and she said yes.
Yeah, she said yes.
Did she buy a training package?
She did.
How many training sessions?
She bought a month's worth for about 12 of them for $50 per training session. 12
I was
sessions
about
for
to
$50.
say, what kind of
12
gym y'all
12
running?
training sessions for $50, Your Honor.
So $600.
Correct.
All right. How many training sessions did you go to before you all decided to take this relationship further?
Of the package that he's referring to, the $600, none. So he owes me the whole amount. I was training with him beforehand. I've known him for a couple months. I just want to be clear that, just because of what I do for a living, this was my personal life, and I actually was not intimate with him despite dating and spending a lot of time together for 3 months after meeting, and we slept together one time. And I can show you the dates. We were away for the weekend, and that's how I contracted chlamydia.
Okay, so tell me the dates.
In between 12/3, the negative test date, and 12/7, well, 12/6 is when I tested, and then I received my positive result on the 7th.
Were you having unprotected sex with any other person besides Mr. Talley?
No.
And we had.
Where you weren't in a relationship with
No.
anybody else?
No.
Okay. All right, Mr. Talley, how do you respond to that?
So even when we had intimate sex and everything, but we had used protection as well. So I don't necessarily know where she's getting this I'm giving her chlamydia type of thing. So that's where I'm getting really confused. I mean, what she does as her profession is that, respectfully, she gets paid to be an adult film star. And that's fine with, I thought I'd just try that out and knock that off my bucket list. Just to be something, not bucket list, but it was something new for me that I was willing to open my mind towards.
No, you said what you were really thinking. You had bucket lists, so don't try to clean it up.
He said what he said.
He said what he said, right, Sean? So you had this thing that you wanted to be intimate with an adult film star.
I would say maybe, as we got to know each other, maybe that fantasy just kind of played out a little bit in my head. But I mean, that wasn't my intentions when I first had met her per se.
Okay.
But that makes sense.
So the truth is you all were intimate. Did you use protection?
Yes.
We did, but I don't mean to overshare details in this setting, but there was an issue with the condom. It slipped off a couple of times. It was a little bit too large.
Coming up,
If you know and you've been informed, and even if you say, I'm not the one that gave it to her, if you've been in contact with someone who has tested positive, why wouldn't you be responsible enough to get yourself tested?
and later,
Was the fish dead when you left?
It was alive when I left, but again, I was running out.
How could you even tell? You had a party in my house. That's
No,
what I
I did not have a party in your
what
house.
party?
There you go assuming stuff.
Hold on.
we're back with a dispute between Danita Christian and Marcus Talley over lost wages and personal training sessions.
The intercourse happens, the condom comes off, you get tested again on 12/7.
12/6, and I received my results on 12/7.
Did you reach out to Mr. Talley?
I did reach out to Mr. Talley, and he would not respond to me. He ghosted me, which is how I also lost out on the training package that I had paid him for, and he tried to physically escape the gym when I arrived there to speak to him.
Oh, really?
He has not been tested for chlamydia.
I have not been tested.
He
because
refuses to be tested.
Why wouldn't you be tested?
I haven't gotten tested because I just didn't have any symptoms, or I didn't have anything going on, or I felt just fine as a man and everything going on.
But if you know and you've been informed, and even if you say, I'm not the one that gave it to her, if you've been in contact with someone who has tested positive, why wouldn't you be responsible enough to get yourself tested?
No, you're absolutely right, Your Honor. It's just at that time, like I said, she was the only one. I wore a condom. I didn't feel any symptoms. And like I said, I just wasn't I felt just fine.
All right, and so then why didn't you return her calls?
The reason why I didn't return her calls is just because, like I said, there was just that line of professionalism that kept being crossed. She was getting more interested, and like I said, I wasn't looking for the relationship.
But she had given you her money for another package.
So yes, but that was in exchange for her promoting my business and our workouts on her Instagram, which she didn't really necessarily do, or she didn't do.
Oh, so you're saying that you had told her, I'm going to give you this reduced rate, and you promote me on your IG.
Yes.
But she never did it.
And she did it. No, she did not. And
so what, you felt like you were going to keep that $600?
No, so I didn't keep the whole thing. There was just a certain amount that needed to be arranged going back and forth with that. But
what needed to be arranged?
Well, in regards to the payment, so because I kept asking her to post, and she kept instigating on going out again, not past just the personal training and the business side of things. She wanted to keep hanging out and work out, and I can give you the text messages for.
Please do, because I know.
Yeah. Please, here you go.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. So I'm in the white right there. So.
Okay, Mr. Talley. So you say, hey, can you post today?
Exactly.
She says, I'll get to it. You want to go to the movies? Okay, so you're saying she's changing the subject.
Correct.
Or maybe she's just already been dating you for 90 days, so it's like, I'll post, but you want to go to the movies.
I would say it's getting to know.
No, I want you to post, you say. And I'll see you at our workout tomorrow.
Yes.
And you say, you don't have to be so short. I'm not being short. I'm talking about my business. You're getting a discount for exposure. I'm just asking that you hold up your end. Do you remember? negotiating for this discounted rate?
Yes,
For
that is
posting?
true. I posted twice for my trainer on my Instagram.
You did?
Yes.
And was there a designated amount of posts that you were supposed to do for the money you were paying?
No, there was an agreement that I would refer other trainees to him, you know, that I would make him visible on my Instagram. And
All
I
right.
did.
None of that happened, though.
All right. Did you ever talk to her about her contracting the STD? Did you ever communicate with her after she was trying to call you?
We just had communicated briefly about these personal training packages, but after that, I just wanted to leave it alone because, I mean, she's always with a bunch of guys posting on her Instagram, and for her to just accuse me of me giving her chlamydia when I'm not the only one that she's always with, that's what just really threw me off.
Oh, who is she with?
Just other guys that she hung out with. I mean, her other friends, I mean, her other stars that she likes to work with. I mean, that's just...
Well, at work, they're in a very controlled environment.
Yes.
Producing. So what?
Well, no, what I mean is, like, I'm not the only one that's getting posted on her Instagram. She's also with her other male friends that I don't know anything.
Oh,
that
so
they have
you
going
think
on.
you're one of many? You think she was
I
sleeping
believe
with
so.
other people?
I mean, yes, I do. I
Your
can't
Honor-
say that it's just me per se. I mean, it's what she does for work, and she just needs to put in her runs.
Okay, I've heard enough. Because what you said right there, it don't make any sense. Because if you really thought she was sleeping with a whole bunch of people, when she told you she had contracted an STD, you would have run your little behind somewhere to somebody's clinic and got tested. Because if you think she's sleeping everywhere, then you could think that you really had something.
Okay.
But it sounds like to me, if anybody was sleeping around, it really was you. Because when she called you about the positive test, you ghosted her. And you ghosted her with her $600. Then you say she never posted. She says she did post twice. So that's another conflict in your testimony. I don't believe nothing you're saying, Mr. Talley. I really don't. It has been determined by this court, judgment for the plaintiff, Miss Christian, for $4,600 because you knew her profession and you knew that she would miss work because of it.
Got it. But I mean, there's no proof that I gave her. I mean, I'm just really confused on, like, where does this show that I gave her that chlamydia per se? Like,
There is no direct proof that you gave it to her. What the proof is that you are the only person in this scenario acting like you don't have credibility. Judgment for the plaintiff, $4,600. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $4,600.
You really thought you were going to come in here and make a fool out of me.
absolutely not.
Yes, you
I guess
did.
it's time to get tested and find out the truth.
I guess so.
So
I'm going to tell the other girls at the gym.
that's perfectly fine. My business was just fine beforehand.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
You may now exit the courtroom.
Coming up,
I want to hear about the party.
I believe that she had a party in my house because when I got home from vacation, I walk into my house and see a stain on my floor.
Now you just
my
lying.
vase broken.
Now
and
you
my
just
fish
lying.
floating at the top of my fish tank. Like what?
What?
Girl, what?
Keisha Glasper claims her cousin left a trail of destruction while house sitting, including the death of her pet fish. Tamika Spears says the fish was alive and well when she left her cousin's house.
Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Glasper versus Spears. Miss Glasper, you are suing Miss Spears for $1,000.
Yes.
For damage you say she caused to your home, your property, and unfortunately, you say she killed your fish.
Yes, ma'am. It was a stain on my carpet in my vase and my pet fish.
All right, and this is your family member.
This is my cousin.
Explain to the court what happened.
Well, I went on vacation with my boyfriend to Luma, Mexico, and I needed somebody to watch my fish for me. And she has a house sitting job, so my mom convinced me to let my cousin work. I had problems at the first. I didn't want to trust her because of the past that she did to me. So I went on and hired her to do the house sitting job.
So what happens?
The only thing she had to do was feed my fish twice a day at 9 and 6 p.m., one scoop. This is not just any fish. This is a flower horn fish, a Malaysian exotic fish with multicolors, and it can live up to 7 years, and my boyfriend got it for me for our anniversary.
Okay, so this was very special, and it was an expensive fish.
Yes, it was $500.
So, Ms. Spears, I want to hear from you. Were you negligent with the fish?
I was not negligent, Your Honor. Like she said, she gave me the times 9 a.m. and 6 p.m., one scoop each. I fed her fish. I even set an alarm.
Was the fish dead when you left?
It was alive when I left, but again, I was running out.
How could you even tell? You had a party in my house. That's
No,
what I do
I did not
believe.
have a party
Wait,
in your
what
house.
party?
There you go assuming stuff.
Hold on. I want to hear about the party.
I believe that she had a party in my house because when I got home from vacation, I walk into my house and see a stain on my floor.
Now you just
my
lying.
vase broken.
Now
and
you
my
just
fish
lying.
floating at the top of my fish tank. Like what?
What?
Girl, what?
Coming up,
I want to hear from you what was happening in her home while she was gone.
So-
These things are broken, there's stains, and her pet is dead.
we're back with cousins Keisha Glasper and Tamika Spears, who are arguing over property damage and a dead pet fish.
Tell me about the property damage. What kind of stain was on your carpet?
It was some type of stain. She said she weighs curry chicken, but I'm not sure. It looked like something else.
So it was like a yellow
I
stain?
have,
Let me see your evidence. Pass
evidence
me
of
all
that.
your evidence too, please, and we can
Okay.
walk through it.
Yeah.
I see you got a folder
Thank
full.
you.
Here you go, Your Honor.
Yes, let's see what we have here. I want to hear from you what was happening in her home while she was gone.
So-
These things are broken, there's stains, and her pet is dead.
Okay, so as far as the fish, I fed the fish. Unless you're gonna do an
Damages. We're
autopsy
talking
on the
about the
fish
damages to
to
my
see
vase
what
here.
caused its death,
Okay,
you need
so
to move
listen.
on.
You say you fed the fish once.
Twice
a day.
9 a.m. and 6 p.m.
What about this vase? What happened to that?
So I was eating some curry chicken, and it was so good. And I was already in a good mood. And so I just stood up and I did a little dance because the food was good. And I
So you
accidentally.
dancing around my living room with
So
some
where did you
curry
expect me to
chicken?
dance? On your bed?
No,
On
sit in
your
the kitchen
bed?
and eat like a regular person at a damn table.
When you got back and you saw all of this, what was her response?
When I got there, she rushed out immediately. I'm saying Tamika, she's just gone out the door. And then that's when when she's gone, I look over there, that's when I see my fish floating. Then I text her.
These are the text messages you submitted to the court.
And she wasn't, it didn't seem like she didn't even care.
Where you say you killed Riri and you couldn't even tell me face to face. You always screw me, call me back. Hello, she wasn't answering. Riri was fine when I left. Sure, that's why you rushed out of here. I'm sorry Riri is dead. It's not my fault. Whatever. And then you're talking about the stain in your carpet. She's not answering. Then you say, did you have people in my house? No, I was going to tell you yesterday, but you blame me for Riri.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
So after listening to the evidence, it has been determined by this court that I'm really in favor of the plaintiff for the $1,000. I think you need to begin to accept responsibility for your mistakes. Even though there are accidents that happen, you have to be willing to remedy those accidents. The first thing you should have said is, I'm going to get your carpet clean. I'm going to get you a new vase, right? Now, the only thing, Ms. Glasper, you did not present is the evidence of how much you paid for the vase and how much the carpet cleaning is going to be. But I do feel the amount, in light of the cost of the fish, is reasonable, and I'm going to award you that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next time you come to court, you have receipts for every single thing you want to be reimbursed for. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $1,000.
On a second thoughts, if we want, we can talk this over. I mean, I'll meet you at the beach or something. Yeah, sure. You can't come to my house right now because I'm too busy trying to get my stuff together. But yeah, thank you.
You may now exit the courtroom, please.
Gloria Coleman claims the braids a new hairstylist gave her were so tight that it caused her to lose her hair. Quenisha Locke says she recommended a different style, but Ms. Coleman wouldn't change her mind.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Sean. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Coleman versus Locke. Ms. Coleman, you're suing Ms. Locke for $300 due to hair loss you say she caused because she made your braids too tight.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain to the court what happened.
Well, my granddaughter had gotten her hair done previously by Miss Locke.
Okay.
So she was recommended to me. I was going to a church event and I wanted to get my braids. So she contacted her. She didn't reply. So she contacted her again, and she gave me an appointment to come into her salon. So I go into her salon to get my hair done. I was a little bit late, maybe about 6 minutes or so late. When I arrived, she wasn't ready to do my hair at that time. So I had to sit there for maybe 30 minutes or so. When I got into the seat, she proceeded to start on my hair, and I said, aren't you gonna wash it? And she said, no, you're late. But then she turned around. Now, mind you, I paid her $300 for services. So then she decided to go ahead and wash my hair. She started braiding my hair, and she started braiding my hair too tight.
1 second, Ms. Locke.
I said, you're braiding my hair too tight. The further forward she got into my hair, it was getting tighter and tighter. And I told her, you're braiding my hair too tight.
So
but
hold
she
on.
continued.
Pause there. Ms. Locke, I want you to respond.
Yes.
So she came to get the hair braided.
Yes.
Got in the chair. You started braiding.
First I was kind of a little bit arguing with her because she took too long. If you've ever been to a hair salon, you know that you work on multiple heads at once. Okay?
Not braids.
Well, not braids, no. You're going to braid her hair all at once, but I was finishing up another client before she had got there.
Right.
That's how the hair salons work. So I'm doing her hair. Before we even got started, Your Honor, I'm noticing she ain't got that many edges right there. So I let her know, hey, let's do a different hairstyle possibly because it's going to be very strenuous on your hair. She proceeded to tell me that this is what she wanted to do. She wanted the braids. I even texted her granddaughter. Her granddaughter said, just do what my grandma wants. Okay, so then I'm braiding your hair. I am noticing as I'm braiding her hair, she's like, and all this and all that. So I'm like, are you tender-headed? She says, yeah, I'm a little tender-headed. So that's normal. That's normal. When you're tender-headed, it's going to hurt. Period. Like it's gonna hurt.
So you weren't too concerned about the oohs and the ahs because that's just normal getting your hair braided.
That's normal behavior when you're tender-headed.
When you're tender-headed. I know my son used to be tender-headed.
Okay,
he could not get his hair combed without screaming. So I get that. Now, Ms. Coleman, you say she kept braiding and braiding and you kept noticing it was painful. Did you ever say, I would like to get a different style?
No.
Because I don't know if this is going to work for me.
No,
braids,
I've had my hair braided in individual braids before, and I've never, ever had that type of feeling.
When's the last time you had individual braids? Before this time?
Probably, maybe I'd say 6 months prior.
Oh, all right.
And this was a special occasion I was going to.
All
so
right.
I wanted it
done.
done.
So do you remember Ms. Locke asking you, do you want to try a different style?
She suggested it.
And then what did you say?
No, I wanted that style.
All right.
Because it was easier for me to manage. And being the professional that she claimed to be.
I am a professional. Everybody come get their hair done by me.
She should have known the texture of my hair and how to manage it in the braids. And if she supposedly said that I didn't have that many edges, why? I want to know from her, why were you pulling the few edges that I had?
Well, I'm going to let you answer, Ms. Locke, but I have an idea about that.
I pretty much told her, I said, we could swoop and dupe it. You see how I got these little swoops right here?
But why didn't you do that?
I was trying to hook her up and do a swoop. Because you didn't want that. You didn't want the swoops.
You pulled
told me you wanted your hair braided. Well, what do you do when you get your hair braided?
Did you tell her you didn't want the swoops, Ms. Coleman?
I don't recall telling her no. I don't even recall her asking me that. She just kept on doing my hair and told me that, oh, it's going to be okay after I finish. All you got to do is put a little oil and take a few aspirins and it will stop hurting in a day or so. And I was like, okay. So I'm trusting her. She's the professional.
Coming up.
But
she wanted it.
She paid that money for that stuff.
It was when I went in there.
Ms. Coleman, you got a lot of evidence now. Can you bring all this evidence that you got?
You can
and
see
then make sure you let her know
just give me everything you got.
And later,
stating that he wanted me to have half of his savings and his bonds.
Is that true, Mr. Goldberg?
Your Honor, it's true but misleading.
We're back with the case of Gloria Coleman and Quenisha Locke, who are arguing over a hair loss-inducing trip to the salon.
So what happens to your hair after you get it braided?
So
when do you start seeing damage?
Well, it was immediately. It was hurting when I left her shop.
Okay, well, that's not abnormal. I mean, if you go get individual braids, they hurt. I've gotten them before. So that's not abnormal. It's also not abnormal to have to take a couple aspirin.
Well, I've never had any fallout before.
I understand that. That's why I'm trying to hear from your testimony what you think Ms. Locke did wrong. Because braiding individual braids tight, in my experience, is a necessity.
You have to do it.
Anybody in the gallery ever got braids? Yes. Did they have to do them tight if there's individuals? Yeah, they have to be.
But
so
this
when
was
she
a little
asked
excessive.
Okay, so you felt like she went
It was a
above and
little
beyond.
because of the fact that if I had like a thinning of hair, maybe before, it may have been different. She has a heavier hand, and she braided it heavy because the second day I was still having that same pain. I still had to get aspirin, and then the third day, I couldn't take it anymore. So I asked my granddaughter to take them out because we tried to contact her and she was unavailable to assist me in taking them out. I couldn't take them out myself. I don't have the strength for that. And she was not able to do it, so my granddaughter took them out. And when she took them out, my scalp was irritated. It had been inflamed, and I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? My edges had bumps. So it was so bad. For 3 days, it bothered me. I had to go to urgent care. So when I went to urgent care, the doctor, he had never seen anything like it before. He said, this is just from braids. Irritated? He said, from braids, this has caused you to have traction alopecia. I was like, never heard of it.
I have. And I understand how braids that are very, very, very tight can cause that. This is this court's dilemma. Ms. Locke testified, and you agreed, that as she braided and saw your hair
multiple times too, Your
But
Honor.
I do have a doctor's note,
I'd like
Your
to see
Honor,
it. I'd like to see
stating
it.
that she had done my hair too tight and why I developed the traction, alopecia.
This does not say that Ms. Locke braided your hair too tight. What it says is that it happens from your hair being worn up and pulled tight, right? And then the treatment for it is where your hair out of braids and not pulled back. I understand that you came and wanted a hairstyle that you saw someone else have or that you wanted to have. I do believe that Ms. Locke did her due diligence by suggesting another hairstyle once she started to braid your hair. And I can see from here that you are not in the position to be getting individual braids around your hairline. We then have to figure out, did Ms. Locke do something wrong? Now, there's a part of me that says, Ms. Locke, you maybe should have just refused.
I was going to do that, but I'm trying to get my money, make my money, and I'm a professional.
Well, listen, I get that, but I'm saying all money, right, ain't good money when you end up in court over it, when your first mind told you, I don't think this is the style for her. But
she wanted it.
She paid that money for that style.
It was when I went in there.
Ms. Coleman, you got a lot of evidence now. Can you bring all this evidence that you got?
You can
and
see
then make sure you let her know
give me everything you got.
Your granddaughter
give me everything you got.
Before she started.
I hope you read it when she said her granddaughter is very unprofessional.
This is what your hairline was before she started?
Yes.
You definitely shouldn't have got no individual.
Thank you.
That's why I told her, you're the professional. You should know how to braid it. Or you should tell me I don't need braids.
Don't blame me.
No, what she tried to tell you was you do need to get a different style. You just didn't want to hear that. Now let me see these messages. Hey, my braids are too tight. Can you help me? I'm booked. I can do it in a week. Can I get a refund for my $300 at least since I paid all this money? I did 6 hours of work. I can't wait that long. I can tell you right now from your hairline, that is going to be a problem. And she told you that, and I can see the money that you paid her. Listen, I'm not going to waste everybody's time because at the end of the day, it is what it is. You paid for a service she provided. She also gave you her professional opinion that you should change the style that you're having, to which you then demanded you give the braids that you wanted. You get the braids that you wanted. There is no way this court can hold Ms. Locke liable for the damages, because that is unfortunately a lesson that you have to learn, that when a hair professional says to you that you should not get this, right? You have to accept your role and responsibility in demanding what you want and how you want it, and if in the end it pulls your hair out. I know it is tough, but Ms. Locke did the right thing by telling you you should have gotten another style. Judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
You don't have no no
so
edges.
why would you
Then
braid
why
what
you
I
trying to
had?
get that
I don't
braid
wanna hear it.
hairstyle? That's why you. Guess
I'm
what?
gonna
You
make
didn't
sure
get. You didn't
that
win.
you don't get the
I
clients
won.
that
You
you
sitting here
want to
wasting
get.
my time. I could have had $800
You're
today,
not
girl.
professional.
But I'm sitting
You're
here
not
dealing with you,
professional,
Grandma.
'cause
Come on.
professional people
You may
know
now
what you
exit
do.
the courtroom.
Coming up,
I started to reconnect with them, and he eventually wrote a will 1 month before he was diagnosed with dementia, stating that he wanted me to have half of his savings and his bonds.
Jeremy Goldberg claims his brother is keeping an inheritance from their late father for himself. Christopher Goldberg claims the money was used to care for their father.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Goldberg versus Goldberg. Mr. Goldberg, you're suing your brother for $9,000, and you claim you'll have the savings bonds that his father put away and you inherited when he passed.
That is correct, Your Honor.
So tell me what happened. I'm sorry about the passing of your father.
Your Honor, basically, a year ago, I was found out that my father had dementia. You know, as a child, my father was he was an actor. He was also a drunk, and he abused me as a child. And as he got older, I started to reconnect with them, and he eventually wrote a will 1 month before he was diagnosed with dementia, stating that he wanted me to have half of his savings and his bonds.
Is that true, Mr. Goldberg?
Your Honor, it's true but misleading. My father did write that letter. However, his state of mind was unclear when he wrote that letter. My father lived with me for 2 years. I was his caregiver. What he thinks there was in the bonds and the savings is not true. We had to pay for a hospital bed. We had to have a special shower made with rails. We basically converted our home into a hospice for 2 years. There was a lot more out-of-pocket expenses that came out of my savings.
So you were your father's primary caregiver?
We were.
What did your brother do?
Ask him. I didn't even see him until the last year of my father's life.
Coming up.
And eventually my father had signed the will stating that I should get half of the savings and bonds.
Do you have a copy of that will?
I do, Your Honor.
We're back with brothers Jeremy and Christopher Goldberg, who are in court fighting over an inheritance.
What about day-to-day care? Were you participating in that, Mr. Goldberg?
I was not. I mean, at the time, I had a full-time job, and I wasn't always able to be there. I tried to go on the weekends. You know, I was trying to mend the relationship that we had, and eventually my father had signed the will stating that I should get half of the savings and bonds.
Do you have a copy of that will?
I do, Your Honor.
It's not a will, Your Honor. It's just a letter my father wrote.
This is not a will. Why did you just offer this up as a will?
I mean, to me, it states clearly what my father's intentions was for his savings and bonds. He wanted me to have half.
Well, it's a letter. It says, Jeremy, I'm writing this to you because your brother Christopher and you are my greatest joys. I'm sorry I can't be here longer, but you and your brother are to split all of the remaining money left in my savings account. Just signed by your dad. This is lacking what's necessary to be a valid will.
To my best of my knowledge, this is all that he had given to me.
Did he have a will, Mr. Goldberg?
He didn't have an actual will.
All right. Do you have evidence about how much you spent caring for your father?
I do, Your Honor.
May I see that, please?
Yes. This is actually just half of what I spent.
Oh, this is an invoice for your brother.
Well, yes, my accountant drew that up. I don't have the actual receipts, but we did have to pay for a hospital bed, which was about $8,000.
Don't you have it on your credit card?
I don't have those documents with me today.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
But this is from your accountant saying that the hospital bed, the new shower, and the stalls, and the housekeeping bills, they all came to $9,000, which is the exact amount that your brother's suing you for.
That's approximately half of what it cost me.
So basically, this invoice was going to be given to your brother to show this is the half of the money he owes for the care of your father.
Exactly.
But you do not have any receipts that shows that you actually had to invest double this amount.
I don't have those with me today, Your Honor.
Why?
A lot of that was disposed of after my father passed away.
How long ago did your father pass away?
It was about 6 months ago, Your Honor.
Did you bring any evidence, Mr. Goldberg, of what you knew your father was supposed to have in the bank? The cost that your brother incurred taking care of your father. Do you have anything else but this little letter?
I don't, Your Honor.
I heard enough. I can't rule on something that you all not even ready for court. You didn't come in here with no paperwork. You didn't come in here with no receipts. You didn't come in here with no bank accounts. I think you all need to spend more time honoring your father by not fighting over money. For that reason, it's been determined by this court. Mr. Goldberg, your case is dismissed. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
For what?
You liquidated all of his assets and claim you have no money?
Do you think it's really worth it to sue me in court over such little bit of money? You're going to see you in court again, or am I going to see you at a family holiday? I still love you.
May now exit the courtroom.
Sarah McCallie claims a sentimental pair of boots were ruined by her friend's big feet. Erica Bailey claims the plaintiff willingly loaned the shoes, knowing she had wider feet.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated. Thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of McCallie versus Bailey. Ms. McCallie, you are suing Ms. Bailey for $600 for the price of a pair of boots you say she ruined.
Yes, Your
Explain to the
Honor.
court, please.
She ruined these boots that were dear to me. I lent them to her for a photo shoot, and instead she decided to take it upon herself to walk around all over town, going to parties and dinners, and she completely ruined them with her big feet.
Okay, so these are the boots, I presume?
Yes.
You gave them to her willingly. You said you can use them for a
photo shoot, and that was all.
And how long was the photo shoot supposed to be?
I'm not sure how long the photo shoot was supposed to be, but I know that she wasn't supposed to be going out afterwards in my shoes.
Okay, Ms. Bailey, you needed to borrow the shoes for a photo shoot?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm an influencer, and part of the work that I do is I sometimes book with photographers, and they ask me to come with new outfits every time to take photos, provide new content. Sarah is a really good friend of mine, and I borrowed clothes and shoes from her in the past, and I said to her that I had this 2000 inspired photo shoot and I needed something, and these boots were perfect. And so she willingly lent me the boots, knowing that I have wider feet than her. And of course, I wore them to the photo shoot and to some other influencer-related events.
Back up. So you wore them to the photo shoot, admittedly,
Yes.
and then you added on to some other influencer-related events.
Yes, Your Honor. So those events were connected to this photo shoot. The photographer presented additional opportunities after the photo shoot to wear the outfits out on the street to really promote the whole lifestyle that goes along with being an influencer.
Your Honor, she wore them more than one day, because I had I'm a spoken word artist, and I had an event the next day, and I saw her posting on social media in my shoes. And I told her that they were just for a photo shoot. I had lent her a pair of shoes before that she completely ruined, and I said to her, girl, you have some big feet. And I took a note of that, and I have not lent her shoes since.
So this has happened to you before?
Yes.
So it's not surprising that she's borrowing something of yours?
That's correct, but I feel like she disrespected me by wearing my shoes that are dear to me. These are actually my mom's shoes. They're really sentimental to me, and she knows this.
And you knew that these shoes were special to her, right, Ms. Bailey?
Yes, I was aware of that.
So let me ask you this. When she let you use them for the photo shoot, once this photographer said, I have additional opportunities for you, did you then text her, call her, or ask her, hey, he's saying that I could wear these shoes again here, 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 and get more? What's the influencer life? What do you want?
Yeah, content, likes,
that's
followers.
It. Content.
Right.
You want more content so you can get more views and followers, and the boots are cute. I'm trying to think, what is the name of that plaid? I had a skirt like that years ago.
It's like tartan?
Is it tartan? Is that gallery? Do we agree on tartan?
Tartan plaid.
And a sparkle heel? Sean, let me see that boot. Yes, Sparkle Heel. Okay.
I love those boots so much, and now I can't really wear them.
They would go good with my robe.
They sure would.
But anyway, these are cute. And they're special.
Yes.
I can say, as a person that has a little bit of a shoe issue myself, haven't seen these. These are not out now. These are something you can't easily replace.
That's correct.
All right, I'm gonna hand it back to you, because don't you even try to say I did something to your boot. But back to the point. So, Miss Bailey, once you realized you could get these extra shots,
Yes.
did you say to her, can I use them for additional things? Yes or no?
No, I did
Thank
not,
you.
Your Honor.
Coming up,
It is about the boots, but about more than the
It's
boots.
about way more than the boots. She promised to come to my spoken word events, and when she didn't show up, I was really, really upset. That's like a slap in the face.
and later,
I paid for his tuition. He lasted 3 months. He came home from break. He never went back. During that time, he went out partying a lot. He started drinking.
we're back with a dispute between friends Sarah McCallie and Erica Bailey over a pair of stretched out boots.
Did you know how important these shoes were to her?
I knew that she really cared about them, but I did just think that they were, a pair of shoes, just like anything that she's lent to me. She's lent me.
So wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. You're talking out both sides of your mouth now. You knew the shoes were very important to her, but at the same time, you just thought it was like everything else. How is it like everything else if they were important to her?
She's lent me other things that have also been important to her. I
Not just
didn't realize.
important, expensive. These shoes were expensive. So it's not like, this is what their value is, $800. Really.
All right, let me see that. Sean, can you hand me that evidence? So this is the value of the shoe,
And
$800.
I'm only asking for $600.
And why are you asking for $600 instead of $800, the value of the shoe?
Because I feel like it's a good in between of what the listing that was posting shoes similar.
Well, it says the price is $400.
Yes, that's a buy it now. But people, they wanted to make at least $800 on the shoe from bids.
But you could have bought it now for $400.
Yes, but those aren't my shoes.
But they have the glitter heel.
They're not my mom's shoes.
So you're adding on $200 more for the fact that there's a sentimental value?
Yes, I'm upset. I just can't believe she took advantage of me. I've been helping her out, and she just
took advantage of you.
So the point is, those shoes are still wearable or not even wearable for you anymore?
Not even wearable for me. I can put on 2 pairs of socks, and I'm slipping and sliding around them because of her big feet.
It just seems ridiculous that two friends are in court over a pair of boots that look to me like there's still a way for them to be wearable. I don't know if you've discovered that way or not, but it's sounding like you're more upset that she didn't honor you and the things that you value the way you felt like you've honored her and the career that she's trying to grow and what she values.
I am upset.
It is about the boots, but about more than the boots.
It's about way more than the boots. She promised to come to my spoken word events, and when she didn't show up, I was really, really upset. She couldn't give me a text, but she could post on social media. I mean, that's like a slap in the face. And as a matter of fact, after I was done with the spoken word event, I had to meditate and get myself together, and I wrote a little poem. And if you allow me, I'll read it right now.
Absolutely, yes, go for it.
Okay. Friends don't steal or take. Friends are forever unless they're fake. I gave my heart, I gave my time, I even gave her my hard-earned cash. But she stepped on me with my own 2 boots. And I'm sorry, I trusted that trash.
Y'all have to do like that in the gallery. Well, how do you feel, Miss Bailey? What is your response to the spoken word poem?
I mean, I'm honestly just hurt that she would jeopardize our whole friendship that we've built over the last 5 years over a pair of boots. I felt terrible about the fact that she couldn't wear them anymore. I felt terrible that I missed her spoken word performance.
You didn't. The truth is, me awarding you the $600 for these shoes, you don't want a new pair of these shoes. You want the pair you have because they were your mother's. On the flip side, Miss Bailey, I don't feel like you need to get off scot-free in this because although there is no outwardly damage to these boots. I've looked at them. I have worn a pair of shoes that have been too wide, and it's a miserable wear. It's a miserable wear. What I also didn't like about it is that you just don't seem like you're a very good friend to her. And you seem like you've gotten yourself a really nice young woman for a friend who's got herself together, who's got a way to help you look like the influencer you trying to be, right? And you are using her up and not giving her the same type of care in return. How many pair of shoes do you think you get to stretch out of hers before you owe her a pair of shoes?
I just think honest mistakes happen.
But this wasn't a mistake. You wore the shoes more than one time.
I did, Your Honor.
You did?
Yes. I didn't anticipate they would stretch out that much, wearing them a few more times.
Okay, that's the point. So you have honored the fact that you wore them longer than what she said you should wear them.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because of that reason, because she admits that she wore the shoes longer than she should, and as a result of that, there's damage to the shoe, I am going to split the difference between the two of you because I think you're both wrong. You wrong, Miss McCallie, because you've got to stop lending your things. I don't know if you are trying to buy her friendship. I don't know what it is that you feel this need to support this young woman at your own detriment continuously when you've already been put on notice that she stretches out your shoes. On the flip side, you cannot just be on Easy Street in her tartan shoes, right? Running down the street, influencing everybody and making money from being an influencer, but tearing up somebody else's property. For that reason, judgment for the plaintiff for $300. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $300.
You know, they say that like shoes make or break an outfit. Apparently they make or break a friendship too.
Look, I just wanted you to see what you were doing to me.
I can't believe that you dragged us to court.
Look,
over a pair of boots.
We can still be friends if you want. I just wanted you to see how you were treating me.
Coming up.
I met someone, a woman who I thought I was going to marry, and it didn't work out. And honestly, between my father and my grandfather's passing and my mother walking out on me, it's been a tough go of it. And so I've been just trying to piece things together.
Daisy Scott claims her grandson has taken advantage of her generosity long enough and owes her back rent. Melvin Scott says his grandmother should give him a break as he helps out financially when he can.
Good day, everyone. This is the case of Scott versus Scott. Ms. Scott, you're here suing your grandson?
Yes.
For $1,250?
Yes.
Tell the court why.
Well, my grandson Melvin came to live with us after his mother left him and his father had passed away, leaving him with me and my husband, who has since passed away, to be the sole custody. I paid for his tuition to go to college. He lasted 3 months. He came home from break. He never went back. His full tuition. He said, I want to pursue other career options. During that time, he went out partying a lot. He started drinking.
So when he came to live with you, did you have an agreement? You need to go to school?
Well, the agreement was when he came to live with us that he needed, I would pay him for school, and then by the time he was 30, where he would start paying some type of...
How old was he when he came to live with you?
23.
All right. So you basically were saying, listen, we'll help you go to college, help you get on your feet. When you're 30 years old, you can start paying rent then.
Correct.
That was the loose agreement that you had.
Correct.
Nothing in writing.
Nothing in writing.
All right. So, Mr. Scott, is this true? Is your grandmother's testimony true?
I do admit that I took for granted that she paid for my college, but we didn't have any set understanding as to how long I would be there. I was just living with my grandma and grandpa at the time, and I was just trying to figure out my life and work out a plan.
Coming up.
Have you paid anything since you turned 30?
Yes, so on the first month, it took me 2 months of saving up, this wasn't easy, but I made a huge...
No, you had 8 years to save up.
We're back with the case of Daisy Scott, who brought her grandson Melvin Scott to court over unpaid rent.
So you didn't finish college?
No, I dropped out, Your Honor.
And then what happens? You get a job?
Yeah, I picked up some jobs along the way, nothing serious, anything that could help pay the bills. And I met someone, a woman who I thought I was going to marry, and it didn't work out. And honestly, between my father and my grandfather's passing and my mother walking out on me, it's been a tough go of it. And so I've been just trying to piece things together bit by bit.
All right, but it's been about How many years since you moved in with your grandmother?
I moved in 8 years ago, and my grandfather passed away 3 years ago.
Are you 30 yet?
Yes, my 30th birthday just passed.
Have you paid anything since you turned 30?
Yes, so on the first month, it took me 2 months of saving up, this wasn't easy, but I made a huge
No, you had 8 years to save up.
I did. I gave her $700 for the first month.
Okay.
And then the second month came around, and all I could scrounge up was $50, and I did have a coupon for a cleaning, so I actually paid for a $200 cleaning, which I have a receipt, Your Honor.
I'd like to see it. Sean, can you pass me that evidence, please? So $700 first month, you came in hot first month.
I did.
$700. Okay. 50 the next?
Things were I didn't have 2 months to save it up, and things were not as fruitful as they were the previous 2 months.
Were you understanding of the fact that your grandson was really trying to turn his life around and he wasn't able to pay consistently the same amount? Or did you think when he paid the $700 the first month, he was going to repeat that payment in the second month?
I thought he was going to repeat the $700.
Is there anything in writing? Do you have anything that says, all right, we're going to do $700 a month. This is what you owe?
It's all verbal.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
All right. You know your math is off. You suing for $1,250, you should be suing for $1,350. You said he only paid $50 the second month. That means he'd owe $650 more. And then that means the next month, the third month, would be another $700, would be $1,350, not $1,250.
Yep. Well, my memory's getting.
But you'll take $1,250.
I'll take $1,250.
I bet you will, after all these years. All right. Tough love is some of the best love, right?
Right.
And discipline, expectation, and sometimes making demands of the young people in our lives helps them grow up in ways that their freedom to just be will never do. And it's time for you to get some expectations and some demands put on you, Mr. Scott. And I'm just going to say this for the record, Ms. Scott, because it's your house and you're going to run it your way. But if he's going to live there, he needs to sign a lease. Do you understand?
Yes, Your
And for that reason, my judgment is for the plaintiff in the amount of the $1,250 you sued for. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $1,250. Lancey Robertson claims she hired a photographer for her sister's birthday party, but her sister refuses to share the pictures. Renee Robertson says her older sister made herself the center of attention, so she doesn't deserve any money or the photos.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated. Good day, everyone.
Good day, Your Honor.
This is the case of Robertson versus Robertson. Ms. Robertson, you are suing your sister, Ms. Robertson, for $350 for a portion of the cost of a photographer. Is that correct?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And Ms. Robertson, you say the plaintiff hired the photographer as a birthday gift for you.
Exactly, Your Honor.
All right, so I want to start with the plaintiff's sister. Ms. Robertson, take me to the start of this. How did it begin?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Well, you know, when you do a nice thing for somebody, sometimes it comes back in your face. And this is what's happening here. I wanted to do something nice for my sister's 30th birthday. So I purchased a photo shoot package. I purchased it in her name as per the request of the photographer in terms of a gift card. Although we had previously discussed in a luncheon, me and my sister, that I hire the photographer with my money, and she agreed to give me a couple of photos, if they come out good, photos of me.
And so, Ms. Robertson, you received that gift?
I did, Your Honor.
As a birthday gift?
I did, and I was super excited, Your Honor.
Did the photographer show up to take the pictures?
He did. He was actually really well known on social media, so that's why I was super excited, because I already knew about this photographer, and I knew he took great quality photos. So once I heard his name, I was so excited.
You were excited?
Very.
So this was a party you were having?
It was. We were actually having a jungle-themed party. I had asked my guests to wear all black, and I was going to wear, I work in a pet store, so I love animals, and I was going to wear this leopard print and, you know, make it all about me.
I love a leopard print.
Thank you. Me too, Your Honor. Smart lady. So this one.
she shows up in a white dress looking like Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, she didn't wear the animal thing?
Oh, no, she didn't wear anything. I asked her to wear black. She comes in white. She comes all dressed up. It looked like, if I can show you the photos later, Your Honor, it looks like it's her birthday party. I'm just kind of a background.
What's
she's
the difference in
blocking.
age between the both of you?
She's actually 5 years older than me, and believe me, Your Honor, she always keeps reminding me of it. Always.
Oh, that she's the older sister?
Oh, yeah. I'm
well,
older.
that's normal,
I'm
right? So you pull rank sometimes, Ms. Robertson?
Well, Your Honor, sometimes my sister needs a little nudge now and then, okay?
Excuse me?
And believe me, I looked great. And the reason I looked great is because I wanted to make her look good. I'm the one that got her the photo shoot. I'm the one that organized the party. She doesn't
So
care
you
about
needed to
her
come in there in the
appearance.
white dress and you weren't going to wear anything for the theme because that was going to help your sister look good?
Oh, yeah. She has to be better than all of us.
Well, Your Honor, actually, I did have a leopard print dress, but it was at the dry cleaners and it was ripped, and the only thing I could find that was clean was this white dress I had in the back of my closet.
So you weren't prepared?
Yes, ma'am.
So the photographer takes the pictures. Your sister was happy with the photographer. What's the problem?
Well, okay, so the photographer says he's going to provide a link with all the photos. He's going to send it to her. She's going to give me the pictures of us and whatnot. And so 2 days pass, 3 days pass. She doesn't send me the link. She doesn't send me any of the photos. I call her. She completely ignores me. Your Honor, I have here text messages, and I tried to get in touch with her.
Let me see that evidence, please, Sean.
And she just refused to send me the pictures. Okay, Your Honor? And,
so when the link comes out, the photographer sends the link to you, Ms. Robertson, right?
He does, and you know what he told me, Your Honor? He said, I own those photos. Me, not her. I own those photos because the package was purchased in my name, not her name, my name. So
all right,
I own the photos.
I just want to go over these text messages from Renee, actually to you, from your sister.
Yes.
Girl, send me the link when you get a chance. Then again, hey girl, have you received a link to view the photos from the party? I can't wait to see them. You say not yet.
Your Honor, when I show you those photos, you will see exactly.
Again, girl, send me the link when you get a chance. So you want to see these pictures?
Yes, Your Honor.
Coming up.
Big sis.
Yes.
Were you directing the photographer to take all the pictures of you?
Absolutely not, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely not.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Where am I in my own birthday?
And later.
I asked Maddie to save my spot because I really needed to go to the bathroom. And she told me, yeah, no problem, I'll save it for you. And when I came back, she wasn't there.
We're back with the case of Lancey Robertson, who brought her sister, Renee Robertson, to court over birthday party photos.
Why are you so hell-bent on seeing the pictures when she says she didn't even get them yet?
Well, Your Honor, I'm curious to see how the party turned out. I invested in I spent $700 for the photographer. I'd like to see the pictures.
That's reasonable. That's a reasonable answer.
But it was a gift for me, Your Honor. It was not. Have you ever given someone a gift and then taken it back? You just don't do that.
But I mean, was she taking it back or was she just trying to see?
Oh, no, she wants these photos, and as I said, when I looked through the photos, I can show them to you if you'd like at some point, Your Honor.
I'd like to see them.
Yeah. No, you'll see maybe 1 or 2 shots of me. Thank you.
Your Honor, there were
the rest are going to be of her.
What I'm saying is, hold on, Ms. Robertson.
Excuse me.
Hold on.
Yes.
Ms. Robertson's sister, Renee.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why do you think when she says, let me see the pictures, let me see the pictures, like if you go and pay for a photographer and that photographer, and you buy a package for your sister.
Sure.
You probably reasonably would want to know how good the pictures turned out.
Sure, but these are photos of me, and as I said, the photographer himself told me that I own the photos, so that's all I can tell her. I own the photos, she does not.
But can't she see them?
No, Your Honor, there's a reason I'm holding on to them.
All right, so I would like to get to the reason why you're holding on to these photos and act like she can't even see what they look like.
For sure, Your Honor, because when I went through the photos, most of them were photos of her. You'll see there's a picture of her blocking me in the face, blocking my hand.
I do see that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's my birthday party.
Now we were just joking around.
Could you imagine how embarrassing that is at your own birthday? See, that's a nice shot of me. I really like that picture, and I was really happy with that. So I hope they were all going to be like that.
That's
drinking
$1
a
million
cocktail.
shot. She looks great there.
It's a great shot. Okay, just continue. I think you'll see a pattern in a minute.
you really did wear a white Marilyn Monroe dress.
Oh yeah, literally.
I thought she was exaggerating.
No, how do you look? And then this sums up our relationship. Look at her. Oh, I'm in the limelight. I'm all handsy.
No, she's hugging
And then
me.
I'm like,
We're sisters.
Hugging.
We're having
Okay,
a
well,
good time.
more like wincing
Your
from
Honor,
your.
my sister's
Here we go,
30.
Your Honor.
She's
I'm
not
sorry.
married.
Ms.
Excuse me. This is important for
hold
Your
on.
Honor.
Big sis.
Yes.
Were you directing the photographer to take all the pictures of you?
Absolutely not, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely not.
Oh yeah. Where am I in my own birthday? Where am I? Did anyone see me?
Angelic there.
Thank you. I'm not in the photos, Your Honor. So this is garbage. Well, another one. Where am I? Where am I in this picture?
Your Honor,
It's
this
my
is ridiculous.
birthday.
There are like 400 pictures, and she's only showing you 5 of me.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. Is that dress black? No, it's white. I
Perfect
asked for
pictures
black.
of her. She's happy with the pictures of the
for
event.
black.
You are in a lot of the pictures. A lot. Now, you are her big sis, so I can understand that pictures of the family are normal, but the pictures seem to show that you were either attempting or subconsciously wanting to outshine your little sis on her big day.
I'm sorry you say that, Your Honor. That's not the case at all. I'm trying to help my sister. I love my sister. I do this whole thing for my sister.
Were you trying to get the pictures for your sister, or did you also want to just have great pictures of you and her? And listen, there's nothing wrong with that, with saying, I want to capture the day and I want the pictures to be great. Whether they're of you or of me, I want good ones. So I'm going to buy you this gift and we're going to get some good shots. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sure, I wanted good pictures of everybody, of her, of me, of everybody at the party. I wanted everyone to have good pictures.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The only thing that's wrong with this situation is you think you can sue her for the value of a gift you purchased for her. That's basically like you're trying to revoke a gift, and gifts are irrevocable. You gave her the gift.
Your Honor, we agreed beforehand when we went out to
agreed.
dinner that she was going to give me the pictures and show me the pictures, and I'm saying, if she's not going to send me the pictures, then give me half the money back for them.
No, you don't
Well,
do that.
no. That's not how it works when you give a gift. And you went through several steps, which makes this court believe that that gift was truly a gift and that it was truly given and accepted, right? You put her name on there. She expressed excitement. The photographer actually showed up, did the job. The link was delivered. The entire gift was given and done.
Yeah. I did give it to her. She can own the pictures, but I'd like to see them.
Well, listen, that's not a legal matter for me to decide. This was her day. So, as a big sis, really, in my opinion, you should have been making sure there were excellent pictures of her. The fact that you are all over the pictures means that we all know in here that it was really about you.
It always
And that's good, because it's also about the fact that you are responsible for the money that you paid for the photographer, and she is not. Judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case has been dismissed.
Well, I'm just going to have to do a new photo shoot that'll be better. And I'm not organizing your birthday party again.
Well, finally, someone sees the bigger picture.
Coming up.
Since when do you want a magic mixer? You don't even bake. She hasn't even touched an egg in her life, Your Honor.
Amelia Lopez claims she paid full price for a high-end mixer because her friend broke the last one during a Black Friday sale. Madison Harris says the mixer hit the ground during a tug-of-war, so she doesn't owe her a cent.
Good day, everyone. This is the case of Lopez versus Harris. Ms. Lopez, you are suing Ms. Harris for $425, the cost of a Black Friday mixer. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, and the defendant, Ms. Harris, you say that the plaintiff started the fight, and that's how the mixer broke.
Yes.
All right, so tell us what happened. Ms. Lopez, you start.
We were going to go on a 45-minute drive to New Brunswick because I wanted really badly a red magical mixer. And she knew how badly I wanted it, and we drove all the way over there because it was the only one left at almost 50% off discount. And when we got there, we were standing for like an hour and 20 minutes. And after that, I had to run to the bathroom. I went to the nearest gas station that was like across the street. And I asked Maddie to save my spot because I really needed to go to the bathroom. And she told me, yeah, no problem, I'll save it for you. And when I came back, she wasn't there. She had already gotten in.
And so did you say to yourself, well, I know what she's here for, let me go get it?
I thought that, yes. So when I was walking around, I ended up in that aisle. I saw that that's where they were, but the only one that was left was blue.
All right, so once you get in the store, what happens?
I went there and I saw her holding a blue one, and I didn't even care about the color back then, because it was the only one left.
Coming up.
I was relieved to see her holding the last one, the very last one, and she goes,
We're back with a dispute between Amelia Lopez and her friend Madison Harris over the cost of a new mixer.
You see her with the blue mixer in your hand. How do you know it wasn't for you?
Because I'm like, oh my God, you saved it for me. Thank you so much. I was relieved to see her holding the last one, the very last one. And she goes, oh no, this is for me. And I'm like, what? Since when do you want a magic mixer? You don't even bake. She hasn't even touched an egg in her life, Your Honor. So like.
Okay. So the reason why I wanted it is because I actually did bake at one point. I stopped because I'm in college.
When you were 5?
But anyways, I wanted to get back into baking.
As you stood there and saw the 50% off, suddenly your love and desire to bake came back.
You know, I saw it and I was like, this is an opportunity to try it again.
So what happens when you finally get up to her and she's holding the mixer and says, no, this is this one I want?
So I just wanted to see it. I was like, okay, let me grab it. And she started like pulling it from me. And I was just trying to hold it. And
so you all got in a tug of war with this mixer. You wanted to hold it.
I mean, it wasn't a tug.
Really, you didn't want to hold it. You trying to get the mixer.
She was trying to
steal it. This is the last one.
She was trying to yank it from my hand.
Let me tell you something. I didn't get all dressed up today to hear a whole bunch of testa lying. Just testify. What's the truth?
Yeah, I wanted it for myself, but I deserved it.
You get fighting over the mixer. What happens?
The security guard comes and because it was on the floor, and she just runs away to my car. So I just said sorry to the security guard. I asked.
Then you ran too?
No. He asked me. He was like, it's okay. You don't need to do anything. He told me.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
The last mixer of the Black Friday deal, and the original price was $650. So I'm asking her to give me half of it back, $300.
What's the other $125 about?
It's for the gas.
Do you have any evidence? Let me see this evidence, because I'm about done listening to this.
Let me just.
Thank you.
Of course.
Oh, then you send her a text and say, hey, Maddie, I just bought a $650 mixer.
Yeah.
And can you please send me the other $300 plus $125 for gas? Because this is all your fault that I didn't get the mixer on sale. The law really doesn't come into play because you didn't own the mixer. It wasn't yours. So it's nothing for this court to really even think about because you never bought it. It wasn't yours. And the one entity, the store, which had standing to say, they broke my mixer and I want them to pay for it, they let you all both go. So you walked out of there scot-free. Judgment for the defendant. Your case is dismissed. Plaintiff. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case has been dismissed.
You got away with it.
You ruined a friendship that was
I ruined
completely fine.
You're the coward and the greedy little
Yeah, of course, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're gonna be quiet.
No, it was definitely your
Follow
fault.
me this.
Trina Lassiter claims she was fired after creating an easy dance routine for a bride and her 22 bridesmaids. Keisha Simmons says the routine was too difficult to perform as she's no longer a professional dancer.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello. Thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone.
Good day, Your
This is
Honor.
the case of Lassiter versus Simmons. Miss Lassiter, you're suing Miss Simmons for $1,250 for an unpaid balance on a contract. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Miss Simmons, you say that she failed to perform. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. Talk to me about the nature of this contract, Miss Lassiter.
Okay, so Mrs. Simmons hired me to choreograph this dance for her wedding reception, and she tells me there's going to be about 22 bridesmaids, including herself, and that they're all professional dancers, right? And we agreed to do at least, 8 dance rehearsals to be properly prepared for the wedding. So the terms were have 8 rehearsals, and then I get the payment for doing the choreography. But somewhere in there, she didn't like what I did, or she felt like they were incapable of doing it.
How much were you supposed to get paid?
$2,500.
$2,500. Was there a down payment made?
The deposit, yes, ma'am.
There was a deposit. What, 50%?
Mm-hmm.
So $1,250?
Yes, ma'am. And she's.
And do you have that contract with you?
I do.
May I see it, please?
Absolutely.
So you're supposed to choreograph a dance. Is this just for Miss Simmons, or was this for Miss Simmons and the bridesmaids?
Yes, ma'am. So it's for the entire wedding party. So it's for Miss Simmons and the 22 bridesmaids.
22?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a lot.
Actually, this was my very first wedding. My husband and I have been married for 15 years, and we weren't able to have a wedding a long time ago. So this was a big deal for us, and I had 22 bridesmaids.
So this was like a vow renewal, but your first wedding ceremony.
Absolutely. And I've known Trina ever since she was a little baby. Yes, I'm friends with her mom as well.
So what's the problem?
Well, the problem is I had explained to Trina that I'm no longer a professional dancer. As a matter of fact, I'm a businesswoman. I have several businesses, and my bridesmaids are businesswomen, and we take care of the household. We're not dancers anymore. We haven't danced in over 20 years.
Which is why you needed the choreographer.
Exactly, and I specifically said, I need something just very simple, something that is just a little shoulder movement, a little hip movement, and maybe just a turn. But that's it. We were not looking for a Beyonce, first-time show. We weren't looking for that.
So you made up the dance, you got the deposit, and you made up the choreography.
Correct. No, absolutely no. She didn't make up a choreography. She actually came to the first rehearsal unprepared. And then she started demonstrating very difficult moves that none of us could do, and then she couldn't break it down. So it was a mess, the first rehearsal.
So hold on. Miss Lassiter, did you come to the first rehearsal with a choreographed dance for her bridal party?
Yes, I did. And the very first rehearsal we had was 2 weeks in advance to the wedding. Now, what the contract says is that we need at least 8 weeks in advance to rehearse so that we could be properly prepared. When I get there, everybody have 2 left feet. It was a hot mess.
All right, here's the contract. Choreography fees must be paid in full 30 days prior to the event. Well, you all were already 2 weeks out, and you just did your first lesson.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Because I reached out to her multiple times, and I could never get through. She had me communicating through the wedding planner.
Actually, when we had our first conversation, I had said to Trina, I'm a businesswoman. I schedule everything.
And so?
And so she didn't schedule it. And so I said, well, can you give us something? So she started sending me these TikTok tapes.
So you were getting these TikToks and you were saying to her, this isn't the vibe.
Not only that, Your Honor, it wasn't her. It wasn't her on the TikTok. She was giving me other dancers that were advanced dancers.
This was
one of them did the splits. I can't do that. I told her in our initial conversation, I had back surgery a couple years ago. I can move a little, but I can't dance.
So you were looking at you were looking for some choreographed cuteness.
Yes.
For you and your bridesmaids to do what at the reception?
It was the opening dance party for the reception.
For the reception.
Yes.
All right, so Miss Lassiter, did you ever choreograph a dance literally from your artistic imagination?
Yes, ma'am, I did, and it wasn't nothing more of walking, posing, showing her ring, nothing to injure her back. I promise you it was something very simple. Would you like to see?
I was just about to say, let me see this dance.
Let's see it. So, we're here, walk, snap, swivel, shoulder, ring, and leg. Walk to the left, right, and step, just a little twerk, pose.
Coming up.
Now, I was gonna simplify the dance, but she hurt my feelings a little bit because I was very excited to put this together for her and be a part of the wedding. And then she just completely shut my idea down by having someone else reach out to me and fire me.
And later,
I needed to change my flight because I was in Washington, D.C., and he fired me the very next day, and I still had a week left. I mean, what kind of sadistic person does this?
we're back with the case of Trina Lassiter, who brought Keisha Simmons to court over payment for a wedding dance routine.
Now, I'm going to say this. Ms. Lassiter, what you demonstrated, it is a cute, feminine dance. I mean, the twerking and the this. I mean, she's been married for many years. There's nothing wrong with a good twerk, but she might not want to do it in front of everyone. She might want to do it privately. But if she said, hey, this is a little bit too much, can you break it down some to make it a little simpler? Could you do that?
Yes, Your Honor. She reassured me that all of the bridesmaids were professional dancers.
I think there's a big miscommunication. I did not say that. I clearly told her we are business women.
Right. And if you're a businesswoman, you should have read the contract.
We're not dancers.
So I see you reaching out to Miss Simmons. I want to see when you wanted to schedule rehearsal. She says back, I'm still just so busy. Don't worry. Most of the bridal party are dancers. They'll learn quickly. And this is when you were thinking what? That the dance would be simpler?
No, I knew early on that it was going to be trouble.
Now, I was going to simplify the dance, but she hurt my feelings a little bit because I was very excited to put this together for her and be a part of the wedding. And then she just completely shut my idea down by having someone else reach out to me and fire me before I can even...
Why did you fire her before she had a chance to just remedy the situation?
Actually, I did give her a chance to do that, and that was the first rehearsal. As I said, Judge, my expectation as a business person, when I work with vendors, you complete the service, you get paid. She came into the very first rehearsal, she didn't have a plan.
So what do you mean? You just ended the rehearsal. You just said, rehearsal's over, Miss Simmons?
We had a rehearsal for 1 hour. That's what it was planned for.
Did it go for the entire 1 hour, or did you cut it short?
It went for the entire hour, and we did not complete the job.
I told them that we would need a second rehearsal. I would come back with a simplified version of the dance. And then from there...
And you were never invited back for the second rehearsal because you got fired?
Correct.
Did you hire someone else to do the dance?
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, me and my bridesmaids, we created our own dance. We didn't use any of her steps. When we had our rehearsal, we weren't prepared, but we got it done.
Well, that's what you should have done in the first place. Because at the end of the day, you hired a professional dancer to create a routine. What I'm hearing from the testimony is Ms. Lassiter tried to send you different videos. What's your vibe? What do you want? I see from your text messages she's trying to reach out to you. You're saying no, 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 because at that point you're done because you didn't like the dance that she did. And you also never gave her a chance to ever present something that was satisfactory to you. Only 1 hour you gave her to do that.
However, I noticed immediately that we couldn't do what she did.
Right.
So,
but you said in your text messages, hold on. You said most of the women are dancers.
We haven't danced in years. We're not dancers.
But that's not it. Hold on, let me see. Because I don't see that in the text message. Let me see.
I clearly told her that in the conversation, Your Honor.
All right, let me see.
I was very clear about that.
Well, you did say most of the wedding party is dance, so don't worry too much about it as long as you don't make it up on the fly. So what does that mean?
I was very clear, Your Honor. As I had said, we are not dancers at this point in our lives.
But making it up on the fly it doesn't matter whether you're dancers or not if she made it up when she got there. Because sometimes she might want to see what you can do before she creates a whole dance.
But she's known me for years. She knows.
But she's never taught you a dance before.
This was before I broke my back.
The whole thing is
okay, so hold on. Miss Simmons, you got to make up your mind. You got to make up your mind. Either you're a dancer, so don't worry about it, which is what you said in the text, or you're a woman that broke her back, that has very little mobility. I want super simple dance steps that will be easy for me to do given the fact that I have limited mobility after breaking my back. I do not see this conversation anywhere.
We've had that conversation on the phone, and I do apologize, Your Honor.
But you didn't give her a chance to come back.
I did.
No, you did not. You fired her after the first rehearsal.
I did not fire her after the first rehearsal. That is not true. Because she actually sent me TikTok videos.
Well, look,
and
all
I
right,
was still,
I'm done
I was
with it
still
because
reviewing
I'm
them.
done. I'm done. The story's all over the place now. I'm done with it.
That's what she said.
Listen, I'm done with it.
Actually,
no,
Your Honor.
I'm done hearing it. And if you say you a businesswoman one more time, I am going to knock this gavel up beside my head. Because any business person would know you didn't live up to the contract that you signed.
That's
for
not
that
true.
reason, judgment for the plaintiff, $1,250. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $1,250.
I had asked you
rehearsals,
to put together the dates.
Right.
The very beginning.
Did you come to
and you
rehearsal?
failed to do that.
If it was a mess, that's not on me.
It is on you because you failed to put those dates together.
Coming up.
The only thing I had access to was my personal email that stated you are officially terminated, and I still had 5 more days left in DC on this business trip that I had to financially cover and pay for myself.
Jen Scout claims her boss fired her without warning while she was on a cross-country business trip, leaving her stranded. Alex Morales says the plaintiff's airfare and hotel were fully paid for, and changing travel plans was her decision.
Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Scout versus Morales. Ms. Scout, you are suing Mr. Morales for $629, the cost for a flight change fee. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. And the defendant says that you already had a flight scheduled and you don't owe the plaintiff anything.
That's absolutely correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's start with you, Ms. Scout. So tell me about this flight.
Yes, Your Honor. So I am suing my previous boss. The reason being is that I needed to change my flight because I was in Washington, D.C., and he fired me the very next day, and I still had a week left. I mean, what kind of sadistic person does this?
So you flew from Los Angeles to D.C.?
Yes, that is correct.
To meet a client?
I flew it was a week trip, and I flew to meet a client, yes.
All right, so you were meeting with the client. What happened so that you needed to change the flight?
The flight was delayed when I got to D.C., and
Which you let nobody know about.
because of the flight change, there was also the time zone. So D.C. to L.A. is 3 hours ahead, and that was completely my fault. I completely slipped my mind, and so I missed the meeting, and so the very next day, I logged onto my computer to talk to my boss to see if I could reschedule the meeting, and I wasn't even able to get on the computer. Everything was canceled. The credit card was canceled, my chat was canceled, my email server was done. The only thing I had access to was my personal email that stated, you are officially terminated, and I still had 5 more days left in DC on this business trip that I had to financially cover and pay for myself.
Coming up.
And what happened, Mr. Morales? I mean, that client obviously got back to you.
My client was exceptionally upset. I got a strongly worded email.
We're back with the dispute between Jen Scout and her former boss, Alex Morales, over travel fees she paid to get home after getting fired.
So, Ms. Scout, tell the court what happened. Why did you need to change your flight?
I dropped the ball. I missed a meeting. I had some things going on in my life, and I missed a meeting.
Cost us a lot.
I understand why I was fired. I understand my termination, and I'm not arguing that today in court.
And what happened, Mr. Morales? I mean, that client obviously got back to you.
My client was exceptionally upset. I got a strongly worded email. This contract is one of our largest accounts. It's $100,000 a year. And as such a small firm, we can't afford to lose this type of client.
All right, and so you had, your company had provided, while she was working, a room and a return flight. The company credit card, Ms. Scout? You paid for it on the company credit card?
I had access to a company credit card.
All right, so did you cut that access off once you fired her?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
My emails, my communication.
Her return ticket was still paid for, as well as the hotel room. You didn't kick her out of the hotel.
Absolutely not. It's not part of our process. She was terminated and was informed that her termination and contract with us was ended, and
but the room was already booked.
Yes, it was.
So you could have stayed in D.C. for 5 days.
Yes.
And then flown home on the ticket that was previously purchased, the second half of the ticket?
That is correct, but I still had 5 days that I'd have to pay for food. Even if I paid for food, that would be much more than the return ticket. I also, I have family. I mentioned I have to get back to my family. I have a dog, Rozzy. I have a pit bull that I'm paying for someone, a dog sitter. I was expecting to get compensated with a job. I'm broke at this point. I don't have a job.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
Ms. Scout, as I'm listening to your testimony, I'm saying to myself, well, yeah, I have compassion for a person that has a really bad week personally and does something that they otherwise would not do. However, if the company still gave you the hotel, gave you the flight home that was already paid for, you had to make a personal choice. That was then not a professional choice you made. You made a personal choice that you'd rather come back. That is a personal decision, and that is not Mr. Morales' company's responsibility to do anything above and beyond what they've already done, which is put you in position to do your job and do it well, which you found a way not to do. For that reason, judgment for the defendant. Plaintiff's complaint is dismissed. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
Business is business, baby. What can I tell you?
Hopefully you become a better, decent human being after this.
Please follow me this way.
Molly Fallow claims her irresponsible rideshare passenger was so focused on getting social media likes that the car door was torn off after she exited the vehicle. Ava Reinhold says Ms. Fallow doesn't know how to drive, so it's not her fault.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Fallow versus Reinhold. Ms. Fallow, you are suing Ms. Reinhold for $1,500 in damage to your vehicle. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the defendant, Ms. Reinhold, says that the plaintiff doesn't know how to drive and the damages are not your fault. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Tell us what happened, Ms. Fallow.
Okay, Your Honor. So in 2021, I started my own rideshare company, a female-friendly rideshare company that I think it's very important that us women, we have a safe way of getting from point A to point B, especially at night. And, you know, we had the pandemic, but things started picking up again. So I've been really busy and really focused on my purpose and passionate about what I do. I do take it seriously, and I've had really good clients. I haven't had any problems, and I have a good group of girls working for me. So it's like a family business almost.
Okay.
So this particular day, I picked up Ava, and it was like the ride from hell, literally. And, you know, she takes no responsibility for what happened that day. And in my eyes, she's completely responsible, and she needs to pay the $1,500. But if I explain to you, it was a simple drive. Like, she just needed to go from Glendale to Beverly Hills. Okay, so no big deal. She gets, yeah, not pretty smooth, right? I'm familiar with this ride. And we take Melrose, of course, you know. So basically, from the moment she gets in the car, though, things were just not good immediately. Like, she gets in the car, she's on her phone, which I get that, but she's on speakerphone for like 10 minutes. She's talking to somebody on the phone with a very obnoxious voice. They're talking about like all this celebrity noise, like just stuff I don't even need to hear about. But again, no big deal. Like, that's the back seat, I'm in the front seat.
Right. Now, Ms. Reinhold, I want to come to you because you remember this drive.
Yes.
Was it a car ride from hell for you too?
For me, it was not. See, I heard about Molly's business. I was on TikTok and I was scrolling through, and it was like this female-friendly rideshare, and I was like, that's great. And I'm very about women supporting women. I love that, you know what I mean? Small businesses, all that. So I was really excited to go on this rideshare, and as soon as I got in, it was just bad vibes.
Really?
Yes.
So you felt like you didn't bring the bad vibes in. You felt like when you got in, there were bad vibes already in the car.
Yes. Like, I'm 100% like positivity promoting. Like, I'm very out there, happy, bubbly, and there was like sad music playing in the background. So I like asked her kindly if she could like turn it down. I was on my phone. She was chirping at me about being on my phone, which I didn't think was wrong because I'm in a rideshare. You know what I mean? Like, I should be able to do my work and my stuff in the back while you take me from point A to point B.
It's not necessarily wrong. I mean, it could be inconsiderate if it's distracting to the driver, and also could be problematic if you are, you know, if they're driving and they're annoyed. But I get it. You're in a
Yes.
ride share that you paid for, and if you need to be, sometimes you need to be on speaker if you need to use both hands or you're looking at something. I get it.
So wait, so it gets more, this is where it gets hairy, because now we're on Melrose, and I get you. Like, Melrose is very hip and trendy. There's a lot going on, and of course we get past like the pink wall, and she spots that right away, and she's like all, ecstatic and young and giddy. And I'm really trying to do my best to understand the young people today with this whole like me, me, me song that they're singing and just all of that, and be like not judgy. So I'm bearing it. But then she's like, oh my God, can you stop? Can you stop? And it's Melrose, it's busy. And like the decency in me, I just kind of pulled to the side and paused, thinking she's going to take a picture like out the window. Well, no, she jumps out of the car, literally jumps out of the car. She got out of the car. Did you not? Yes. So she gets out of the car and she does whatever, selfie, taking pictures. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'm like looking around. She gets back in and I'm like, okay, well, nope, she doesn't get in the car. She grabs a tripod out of the car, jumps back out, and I guess was going to start taking video and content. And then in all of that hustle and bustle, the next thing I know is boom, a car comes by and like just takes the whole door off that she left open.
Coming up.
You asked her to please stop.
Yes, I did, and I asked her, and I didn't mean to be bothersome in any way. And she said, okay, and she pulls over.
Where does she pull over?
On the side of the road. And when I went in to grab my
Was
tripod,
she in a parking spot?
No, she was parked illegally.
And later.
What point do you decide the cleansings didn't work?
After the 6 weeks of chakra cleansing.
We're back with the case of Molly Fallow, who blames her rideshare passenger, Ava Reinhold, for damage to her car.
You saw the wall. It is notorious, and everybody wants a picture there. You asked her to please stop.
Yes, I did, and I asked her, and I didn't mean to be bothersome in any way. And she said, okay, and she pulls over. So I hop out of the car, and I'm going.
Where
and I'm
does she
taking
pull
a picture.
over?
On the side of the road. And when I went in to grab my
Was
tripod,
she in a parking spot?
No, she was parked illegally. And I was
and
like,
I know that intersection. There are no real parking lots over there.
And I was just like, okay, like you do you, she's been doing this for a while now. She has an entire company, so I'm trusting her,
Your Honor, she did not give me a choice. You didn't give me a choice. It wasn't this elaborate conversation.
I asked
it was like,
you,
oh,
and
no, please, and she jumps out of the car. What am I supposed to do? Be like, okay, bye,
Your
and
Honor,
keep
she
driving?
could have simply
No.
said
My
no.
point is, did she jump out of the car while it's moving, or did she jump out after you pulled to a stop and then she got out?
She pulled to a stop
to the
and then I
side
hopped
for
out
you
of
to
the
take
car.
a picture. It was a big, open, clear take a picture. It wasn't supposed to be a whole thing for you to get out of the car. And the thing is, if she would have got out and took the selfie, okay, fine. But that wasn't enough. Like, that's what I mean about this
Your
self-centered
Honor.
behavior. Like, that's why I started my business, because women need to be about each other. Like, it was all about you that day. It was like, oh my God, I got pictures, but that's not enough. Now I need to get video. So she came back to the car, took the tripod, and that's when the accident happened, because she left the door open.
And did you say something to her when she came back to get the tripod? Did you say, hold on, Miss Reinhold, hold on.
Yes,
I'm not parked in a
Yes, Your
spot.
Honor.
What were you saying?
I said, listen, we can't. We have to go. I have to pick up another
did
client.
not. I went in.
So in Beverly Hills in 10 minutes. We were supposed to be in Beverly Hills, and we're on the side of the road. And then what really is the kicker is then this happens. The incident happens, okay? And she starts going into hysterics like, oh my God, I can't believe this has happened to me.
Because that could have been me in the back seat easily, and you ignored that completely from me. When we pulled over to the side of the road, Your Honor, I got out, yes, to take some pictures after I asked. And I went in to grab my tripod. We had a conversation about going to Beverly Hills while we were still in the car. But she still proceeded to pull over, so I got out to take the pictures. I went in to grab my tripod, saw that she was parked illegally. But I trusted her as my rideshare to get me from point A to point B, and she knows this, as she claims. She knows this road, and she's done it multiple times.
So did anybody bring evidence of what the car looks like?
Your Honor, the evidence that I have, I want you to watch this TikTok, because she got out of the car and she proceeded to make a TikTok, and it is all about me TikTok, and she keeps
All
talking
right, so this is the video that's been submitted to the court?
Yeah.
Let's
yes,
see
it
that.
is, Your Honor.
I can't even look at it right now. My driver just got into this huge car accident, and that could have been me, and it was like totally her fault, and I'm a little rattled up right now. I was taking pictures for content and everything, and she just got into this huge car wreck. That could have been me, and my life was in danger, and it's all her fault, and I'm just trying to breathe right now, because it was the most scariest thing that happened to me in my life, and it's just very in awe. And I just want to say that everyone, just please make sure that when you get in a rideshare that you have a safe driver, because this could have easily been anyone. Don't forget to hit that follow button.
Exactly.
Can't leave that last line out, can you? So you didn't close the door all the way, or you went to close it and it didn't close all the way, and the next thing you know, how did the car get hit?
Because the door was wide open and someone came.
Wide open?
Well,
No.
it definitely
The door
wasn't
got
closed
hit
or
because
like,
she was-
I couldn't pull off. Your
Was
Honor,
she
the
sitting
problem is-
behind your driver's side or the passenger in the back?
Driver.
So she was sitting behind you in the back?
Yes.
All right. And so she got out, closed the door, didn't already close it, went to open, and then a car comes by and sideswipes?
Just took the door off.
But that means you're in the middle of the road. This is tough because I think, Ms. Reinhold, you were being inconsiderate, you were being irresponsible, and you were even being a little bit irrational to think that in the middle of a ride share, you could get out and do a full photo shoot. I don't see how you could think all of that. But the truth is you did, and the crazy thing about it is your driver allowed you to.
I didn't have a choice,
Which is,
Your Honor.
no, you actually did have a choice. Because had you not stopped, had you just said, I'm sorry, I have another appointment, there is nowhere for me to pull over safely right now, I've got to keep driving, you have to do what's necessary to ensure a safe passage.
Well, I didn't know she was going to get out of the car.
Of course you didn't know that. But
She didn't
if
say
you
that.
knew to say no and you had worked that out, she wouldn't have been able to get out. You would have just said, I'm so sorry, you've only booked this stop. If you want to book another stop, I don't know if you use an app or what you use, but I've been in ride shares before where I want to stop at a different place and they say, you're going to need to plug that into the app before I can make that stop. And then when they do, they find a safe place to stop. So unfortunately for you, you did have a pretty irresponsible passenger, but unfortunately, Ms. Fallow, your irresponsibility supersedes all of that because
Really?
it's your company. Judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
I can't believe she let you get away with it. Like,
You got what you
Not an
deserved.
example.
You
Well,
got
good.
what
You're
you
going to be
deserved.
in Selfieville.
You know, I really
taking
hope you learn a
selfies
lesson and then you
until
can start
you're-
putting these child locks on, and
Whatever,
then you can
that's-
start to say no and stand up
You
for
heard the
yourself.
judge.
Because that's what I did for myself today.
You didn't do anything but think of you.
Coming up,
I was looking into her because I was going through some things and I was hearing voices. Children,
Hearing voices?
Yes, children
Okay.
screaming.
You were hearing children screaming?
Yeah.
Mimi Washington claims she paid for several spiritual cleansings, but she wants her money back since they didn't work. Sophie Sanders says she did her job, but the plaintiff needs more help than she can provide.
Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Washington versus Sanders. Ms. Washington, you are suing Ms. Sanders for $2,038 that you say are for spiritual cleansings that didn't work.
Yes.
And Ms. Sanders, you say the plaintiff needs more than supernatural help. You did your job and you don't owe her.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, what happened, Ms. Washington? Why did you come to court today?
I came here because I met Miss Sanders online on her website, and I was looking into her because I was going through some things and I was hearing voices. Children,
Hearing voices?
Yes, children
Okay.
screaming.
You were hearing children screaming?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was very nervous and uneasy about it. I wanted to do some research. I did some research online, and that's where I was drawn to her website. And it said that
Because you didn't know if these were voices in your head. You thought it was the spirits of people in your home.
Yes.
What does that entail, Miss Sanders?
When she called and told me that she heard the voices and the children and stuff playing in her house, I immediately told her.
She said they were in her house, not in
Yes.
her head.
No.
They're in her house.
In her house.
And they were screaming.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I advised her, I said, I immediately need to come over and let's set up a time to do your cleansing of your house.
Coming up,
I went over there and I was ready to do it, and she let me in. As soon as I walked in the door, I felt a strong, like real strong spirit.
we're back with the dispute between Mimi Washington and Sophie Sanders over spiritual cleansings.
I immediately opened up the windows and went to work all around in there. It took me about an hour to do everything. I spent 20 minutes in each room. I lit candles, these spiritual candles in the house, and I also took my sage. I used this, and I went all through the house with it, each room for about 20 minutes, and I also asked her, was it okay for me to go outside around the house to, you know, pray around it and stuff, and she said, yeah, with the sage. So after I got done doing all of this, I came back into her home, and if the presence then felt real good, and she looked it better, she looked it good, and it seemed like everything was calm, and she told me, oh, she was so happy about it, she felt good about it. So I was like, wow. So I just left, you know, feeling confident that everything was fine for her.
When Ms. Sanders left, Ms. Washington, you felt better?
Yes, I did at that time, Your Honor.
Just to be clear, and you paid her $2,038 for that one session?
I paid her $535.
For that session?
Yes.
Okay, then what happened?
I found my boyfriend had cheated on me.
All right. So then you find out more disappointing news.
Yes.
And then what happens then?
I had nobody again to go to, so I went back to her again.
You felt better every time you left her, only to have another bad thing happen, and then you felt like you were sinking again.
Yes.
At what point do you decide the cleansings didn't work?
I guess I decided that after the 6 weeks of chakra cleansing.
So you did 6 weeks of chakra cleansing?
Yes.
And then how did you know it did? How do you know this doesn't work?
I didn't feel any better.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
I cannot say, based upon what you've testified to, that what Ms. Sanders said she would do for you, which is try to adjust your chakra and cleanse using the sage and pray, and I think she did the extent of what her practices could do, but I think you're going to need more than that. And it is because of this I can't award you your money back, because we really cannot prove that what she did not work at all, when in essence you testified that it did at first, and then something else happened and you lost that strength. And I want to say to you too, spiritual practice, right? The practice of guiding yourself through trauma or difficult times. It's exactly what it is. It's a practice. If you're not doing it consistently and with intention and true belief in the fact that it works, then it's not going to work for you. And I don't think that it can override psychiatric care when it's needed, all right?
Okay.
I wish you the very best. Judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
A little let down, but hopefully she doesn't screw somebody else over.
How do you feel about that?
Hey, I just follow the spirits that they lead me and it led me to good.
Kesia Chambers claims her assistant took liberties with her money and says she's had enough of it. Brittany Prince says her friend's false accusations were the last straw, so she had no choice but to leave. Ms. Prince is countersuing for $700.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Sean. Thank you. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Chambers versus Prince. Ms. Chambers, you are suing Ms. Prince for $1,472.22 for unauthorized purchases. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And defendant Ms. Prince says you are being wrongly accused and you're countersuing for $700. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, let's start from the beginning. What happened, Ms. Chambers?
We're from Detroit, and my mother put me in all the venues in our neighborhood in regards to music. And anytime there's a talent show, I'm in it, I'm a part of it. And that's where I met Brittany. She's also in music, and she does more like the back end stuff. And growing up, she calms me down when I have stage fright. She look after me whenever I was on stage and had to
So
get
you
right.
have a relationship?
Yes, we have a very long
I'm from Detroit too, and I know that's a musical city.
Mhm.
So I'm not surprised you were in talent shows and doing all of those kinds of things. So you all have known each other for years. How did you come to take on this role of helping and being of support to Miss Chambers?
So I started off by, assisting stage managing. With all the shows that she would do, I was always backstage assisting with the manager, with her, with the talent, with everything. But after she got an opportunity, once she became viral on YouTube, she got an opportunity to go on tour in Europe. And that's when she hired me to be her assistant.
All right, and what type of music do you do, Miss Chambers?
I'm a pop singer.
Okay.
I posted a video with a major artist and it went viral. From that moment, my career took off. I was asked to go on tour with another major artist in Paris, and that's when I called my good friend Brittany here, who's been with me my entire life and knows me very well, to come along with me for the ride.
What were Miss Prince's duties supposed to be?
It just involved her making sure my finances were good. Sending $2,000 to my mother every month was very important to me. My mother took care of me, so it was my job to take care of her now that I'm starting my career. So that was very important to be done. Just little things, making sure she reached out to managers, making sure I belong where I am, dates, and fitting, styling,
So a
things like that.
combination of assistance, doing assisting and styling.
Correct.
All right, is that what you understood your duties to be, Miss Prince?
Yes, I was over her calendar, I was pretty much the middleman for all the meetings, the fittings. I also personally assisted her with her style. She always came to me for personal advice, if I liked her outfit, etc. I was over it all.
All right, and so how far into this tour did things start to go awry?
The tour's for 6 months total. The first 3 months were great. Everything went perfect. It wasn't until the 4th month that my mother called me and she asked, hey, where's the $2,000 you usually send me? What happened? And so I reached out to Brittany. I'm like, Brittany, you didn't do your job. What happened? She claimed she did it. Well, she said she did it.
I did it, Your Honor. I have proof that I did it.
I'd like to see that proof. Did you bring it?
Well, yes, I do have evidence, Your Honor.
Take that.
So you have the proof in this evidence that you sent the $2,000 to her mother?
I did the same thing every month. So the first 3 months it went smoothly, like Kesia was saying. Now, she came to me saying that her mother didn't receive it. I reached out to her mother confirming, hey, did you receive it? She said she hasn't. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to resend it again.
Were
Can
you
check?
sending it through one of those
It was a wire
financial
transfer.
apps, or you did a wire from her bank account?
It was a wire transfer directly from her bank account to the States. So I had advised the mom to just check in with her bank to
And I see you texting the mother saying, hi, Mrs. Chambers. Kesia said that you didn't get your payment. I'm just checking to make sure that it's not on my end. She says, hello, Brittany. No, I haven't received it. And you say, can you please check your bank? I just tried to resend it again.
Correct.
So what happens with that? She just never got it?
She never got it.
What else happens?
So she keeps a grudge after that. That's what I want to mention. And then the next thing I noticed is that she...
What's the grudge about?
There's no grudge. Why you? She's being so extra right now. I don't understand.
I'm being extra?
So annoyed because... So what had happened was I got some...
No. This is...
All right, y'all are laughing at me for that, but
you
it's not
can
even a
just
big
use
deal.
one head.
Judge, the reason why I said she's holding a grudge because she blows up in my face when I confront her about these purchases that she claims she brought for me, but number one, I don't like them. They're not my favorite color, and most of them don't even fit me. They're not even my size. It doesn't
And these
have my
are the
name in it.
clothes?
Yes, these
that
are the
she
items right
picked
here.
up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, show me what you brought.
Coming up.
Yes, black and white.
See?
Oh, I wish they were my size.
I wasn't tripping.
And later.
You decide then at some point that you swing and punch him in the eye.
Only after I was touched first.
Back with the case of Kesia Chambers, who brought Brittany Prince to court over misappropriation of funds.
She got a belt.
It's cute. It's blingy. It's her style. She's a star. I'm trying to upgrade her style to be a star so she's ready on and off stage.
Are you the stylist?
I am not the head stylist, but I'm her personal assistant.
And
to
so
assist
you
with
know
that.
her style and you know when, because I do
Yes,
see the
ma'am.
text message that says, hey, oh, you asked, I want to stop and pick up a few designer things for you. Is that cool? And then you say, Ms. Chambers, yes, but please check the budget and make sure you don't go over. and make sure it's something that I would wear and want.
Exactly, and I did everything I got her permission. I matched the style. I matched the style of today's, like...
Oh, well, these are cute.
Right?
Why would you not send me a
That's
picture?
what a star would wear. I don't understand why she's
You
making
can
a big
pick
deal
these
out
out
of
for me.
Those look
If
nice
I
on you, Judge.
What?
They look nice.
They do look
I
good.
like them.
See? She likes them.
Yes, black and white.
See?
Oh, I wish they were my size.
I wasn't tripping.
Well, I love all of it. You can be my personal assistant and stylist, Miss
tripping on the
Prince.
size.
You know what?
But
I'm in a
anyway,
job.
you didn't like these either.
No.
And I will say this does not look like the kind of shoe you would perform in. You are in the process of growing your career. A loafer really isn't it, but
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you. You get it. You
But
get
it wasn't
Thank
to
you.
be performing. I initially
So
got
why are you picking it up? Why do you think she just needs loafers and sunglasses and sparkly belts if you don't think it's something that she's going to perform in?
Well, the glasses and the belt definitely to perform in, but the loafers were just to get to point A to point B.
Like to and from the airport, but stylish.
Yeah, like stylish, but like,
All right.
not trying to break your
so
back
you
over
present
the
these
cobblestone.
items to Miss Chambers, and you immediately go, I don't like any of this.
Correct.
So why don't you just say, go take it back?
I did.
She did, and I had all intentions of returning it the following day. But we had meetings, we had fittings, we had a rehearsal, sound check, everything. And I was managing, making sure our team was on check. But in the process of everything, she kept coming at me, accusing me, and pretty much making me feel like I was some thief.
Accusing you of what?
Of buying these things for myself, misusing her finances, and pretty much just stealing her money.
And so what is the basis of your countersuit for $700?
Well, $700 is to cover the plane ticket that I needed to get back home to Detroit.
Oh, y'all fell out so much that you couldn't get back home?
No, I needed to get home because I needed to make sure that this friendship wasn't going to just completely get destroyed because of something as simple as...
So you decided to quit the job?
I decided to leave. I was hurt because of how she was handling the situation.
I still don't understand why this amounts to all of this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can somebody fill me in as to why you two beautiful, smart, successful young women could not have come to a better resolution than to fully fall out on a tour and you fly home, $700 ticket? What's going on?
Your Honor, she's a big baby. She blows things out of proportion.
Oh my goodness.
All the time. So she was being a drama queen.
This is the part that drives me crazy about all this nonsense and y'all want to drag these problems that you should have solved in the living room instead of in the courtroom because you're wasting everybody's time. This can be cured. This problem can be cured. You just return it and you get your money back, and if y'all fall out and she doesn't want to work for you anymore, so be it. I have fallen out. Many of assistants have decided they don't want to work for me, honey, because I like stuff the way I like it. You hear me? Mm-hmm. And sometimes if that's not the way you like it, then you got to go and do what you need to do for you. And that's okay. She bought her own ticket home. And now, Miss Prince, you decided you were done. You was sick of her. She had gotten on your last nerve. You felt like the clothes were cute and she was trying to act like you weren't doing your job, and you got mad and you decided unilaterally to buy your own ticket back home so you could leave. She don't owe you for that ticket because I'm sure there was a return ticket already at the end of the tour. So all of this haste, all of this drama, and I'm disappointed in you two because this is exactly what stereotypically they want to say women act like. That we get irrational, we get emotional, we get caught up in drama, and we can't do our jobs. And for you all to then actually live this out unnecessarily is a bad showing for professional women everywhere. And I need you to understand that. This is unnecessary. Neither one of you owes anybody anything. You need to just return the items, and if it's too long now, that's your fault. And Miss Prince, you buying the ticket means that you decided to, and it's your money. So on the suit, judgment for the defendant, and on the countersuit, judgment for the plaintiff. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled. Both cases are dismissed.
Sorry I had to take you to court, but it had to be done.
No, it didn't. She literally just said it was unnecessary time. You have wasted my time. I tried to help you, and you blew up. You came all
should have completed the job.
Here.
You're never going to make it in the real world, just leaving work like that.
Oh, really? Says the person who can't even manage her own life.
Never.
Please follow me.
Ridiculous.
Coming up.
All right, so you felt like he was being discriminatory or he was favoring women who were scantily clad.
I know he was, Your Honor.
All right.
Wayne Fletcher claims he reached out for a woman that snuck into his club and says she spun around and punched him. April Connors says it was a gut reaction because the plaintiff grabbed her and she's not okay with that.
Good day, everyone. This is the case of Fletcher versus Connors. Mr. Fletcher, you are suing Ms. Connors for $487.96 for personal injury damages caused by the defendant. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. And Ms. Connors, you say this is not your fault, it's the plaintiff's fault.
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. I'd like to start with you, Mr. Fletcher. What happened?
Well, I'm here because I got punched in my eye, got a black eye at work. This club is one of the hottest clubs in town. So now and then we receive musical performance acts, and I believe she was there to see a musical performance act. Other than that, her behavior was not tolerable.
What prompts you to even be in contact with Ms. Connors? How did you all even have an occasion to talk?
She wanted to go use the restroom.
Okay. I need to ask you this. Were there any other businesses, stores, restaurants, anything else in the vicinity of this club?
No, Your Honor, because the time was already about 10:30 p.m. when we got in line, and most of the stores in that area close around 8:30, especially on Friday night.
And then what happened?
Mr. Fletcher decides to let a group of VIPs through, and thankfully one of the members just decided to look back at me and give me grace and wait for me to come with them. Your Honor, when this person gestured for me to come, I immediately darted for the entrance and started making my way to the bathroom. And that's when Mr. Fletcher reached out and grabbed my arm, and I instinctively turned around and hit him because I'm a small young woman and I don't like to be manhandled.
Coming up.
Medical expenses, I had to be in the ER.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Over a black eye?
Yeah, urgent care.
So you
I had
got
to
a
get it
mean,
checked
was
it
that
out.
a right hook or a left hook?
We're back with a dispute between bouncer Wayne Fletcher and club patron April Connors over a black eye.
So when Ms. Connors, and I'm using her words through her testimony, darted towards the entrance, she says you grabbed her arm.
She darted towards the restroom. That's where I grabbed her arm. And as a security, I know I'm a male and I'm way bigger than her. We're used to like getting the most amount of space between the women and just by the hand. Really not grabbing them, not groping, none of that, because I would lose my job, honestly. Not only is it wrong, I would lose my job.
He could have dislocated my shoulder, Your Honor.
You're the one who popped my eye and gave me a black eye. I was not trying to hurt you. You could deliberately, it shows you're trying to do something to me.
So you
maybe you're
grab
mad
her
because
arm.
you're there out in the cold.
Where do you grab her arm? Where do you grab her arm?
Her wrist.
You grab her wrist.
Her wrist, yeah. Just
Stop.
like to pull her away.
Okay, pause. Ms. Connors, where does he grab you?
Your Honor, he grabbed me on my wrist, yes.
Okay. You decide then at some point that you swing and punch him in the eye.
Only after I was touched first, physically, yes.
On the wrist or in any other way?
I was grabbed on the wrist, yes.
All right, and then he told you don't do that, and then you just punched him in the eye.
I did react after being triggered, yes, and swing on Mr. Fletcher.
All right, Mr. Fletcher, she connected and punched you in the eye.
Gave me a black eye.
And then you got a black eye.
Correct.
All right, and so you're suing for $487.96. How does a black eye cost that much?
Medical expenses, I had to be in the ER.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Over a black eye?
Yeah, urgent care.
A bouncer went to urgent care for a black eye.
Yes, I could not see out of my eye.
From a
it was
5'2"
out.
woman.
My eye was out. I wanted to see if she made
So you got
permanent damages.
So you
I had
got
to
a
get it
mean,
checked
was
it
that
out.
a right hook or a left hook?
Your Honor, I believe it was a right, but it's not as mean as he's pretending it is.
Judge Lake's verdict when we the people.
It is the opinion of this court that Mr. Fletcher was doing his job appropriately. He did not grab you in a place that I felt like was unreasonable. He showed me exactly the way he grabbed you, and you testified to the exact same thing.
Well, Your Honor.
I'm not taking any more testimony. I've given you ample time to explain to me why this happened. And even the way you're standing right now, the attitude you've given in court is just kind of like, well, I didn't get my way, so then I was going to do what I had to do. And that's okay if that's your attitude. But just know sometimes your mouth and your attitude will write a check, right? That now your bank account got to cash because it's judgment for the plaintiff for $487.96.
Your
Court is
Honor,
adjourned.
I'm an administrative assistant. You can't do this to me.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $487.96.
I believe that the judge made a mistake and that you will be proven wrong someday, whether it's by me or another member in the line.
You should stay away from the club scene. That's all I gotta say. You don't know how it works.
Ugh, you're pathetic.
You want to rule everything. You want to be the winner.
Rachel Tucker claims her boyfriend took back the car he gave her after they broke up, even though she made all the payments. Trevor Russell says the car is in his name, so it belongs to him, no matter who paid.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello, thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Tucker versus Russell. Ms. Tucker, you are suing for $11,493 for the cost of a car you say he gave you, then he took back.
Yes, Judge.
All right, so explain to the court how you got here.
Okay, so I'm suing him because he gifted me a BMW for my birthday. And when we broke up...
How long ago?
This was 2 years ago.
How long were you all in a relationship?
We've been in a relationship, we were in a relationship for 3 years.
Okay.
2.5.
All right. So you, 2.5, 3. All right. So you were in a relationship, and for your birthday, he gifted you a BMW.
Correct.
Did you know it was coming? Was it planned or was it a surprise?
It was a total surprise.
So take me to that day.
So we had, when I walked in, everything that I wanted was there. He did his thing. He surprised me completely 100%. All my friends were there. At the end of the night, everybody started crowding me. I start seeing him come down the middle of everybody, and he's holding a box. I'm thinking, this is it. He about to pop the question. He comes to me. He opens the box, and it's not a ring, but it's the next best thing. It's a key to my BMW.
Okay, so that's exciting.
I was floored. I almost went pale. It's sitting outside with a big red bow, and he gifted it to me.
All right, so this was your big surprise, Mr. Russell. You didn't do a ring, but you did the key.
I did what she needed. I mean, you know.
I didn't need it.
Everybody, she wanted a ring, but I mean, she got the hoopty, you know what I'm saying? So I had to find out a way to, you know, get her right. And, you know, me, myself, I'm studying to be a dental hygienist right now. So, you know, I got to look up, you know, a certain type of part. I got to, you know, and I want that the same for my lady, you know, especially if I'm gonna call her my lady. So, you know, she got the hoopty, the little 98 Civic, you know, you hear coming down the block, you know, the dashboard looking like Christmas trees and stuff. And, you know, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this car. You know?
All right, so the bottom line is you felt there was a need and you wanted to supply that need because you all were in a relationship.
Correct. It's one of my love languages. It's
one of
romance.
your love languages.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, that's great.
One of many.
So she gets the car, the present's great, and then you presumably drive the car.
Correct.
You have, you know, dates in it. You use it. It's great. How long do you have it before you say Mr. Russell took it back?
2 years.
So you have 2 years?
2 years. I made payments for 2 years.
Wait a minute. I thought you said this was a gift.
Being that we are in a relationship, I know his hardships that he has. He has a vehicle of his own that he's making payments on.
Not true, not true.
I didn't have to make a deposit on a vehicle, my dream vehicle. He did that for me. So I could at least make
So
the
he
payment.
didn't gift you a car, he gifted you a deposit.
At this point, basically, yes. He gifted me a deposit.
Okay.
What I thought was the vehicle turned out to be just the deposit.
Okay, so the car wasn't paid for?
No. He just put a deposit down on it.
So you had to pay for your own gift?
It wasn't a little deposit.
On top of my own insurance as well.
That's not a gift.
You know, I should be asking for the insurance as well, but I'm here just asking
all
for
of
the
that
money
was
that
covered.
I put down.
Everything was covered. She didn't have to worry about a thing but to push the gas pedal. That's all she had to worry about.
Oh, wait a minute, Mr. Russell. So you're saying you paid for the whole car?
I'm paying for the car as
You're
of
not
right
paying
now
anything.
as well.
Who paid the note while she was driving?
I'm paying the
She was
notes.
paying it, but
I'm paying
I
the
never
insurance.
gave her the ultimatum if she could pay it or not. I can easily pay for it myself.
So why didn't you if it was a gift?
Because we already share an apartment, and by us splitting the bills and everything right there, and then, you know, now her
Which
saying
didn't
that
start
she's
off that way. You
consistently
moved in
paid
with
this
me.
month by month is absolutely false. Now, yes, she did it on the active. Yes, she had her accounts and everything, got it like pulled from her bank account.
It was on
But
automatic.
There was times where we
Debit
went
out
half.
of your account?
Yes.
It was coming out of her account, but
So
the money
you
was
gifted her
both of
a
ours.
deposit. She would not. She wasn't able to come up with a deposit to get the car she wanted. So
Correct.
you gifted her a
The
deposit.
BMW she wanted.
Coming up,
You paying a car note that's in his name
That was
for
supposed
a
to be a
gift
gift.
that's not a gift that's supposed to be for your birthday.
You got it, Judge. I'm confused as you.
we're back with a dispute between Rachel Tucker and her ex-boyfriend, Trevor Russell, over car payments.
I've been saving up for the vehicle.
All right, hold on.
Not the BMW.
Hold on. Whose name was the car in?
My name. The car is in my name.
Sean, what kind of gift is this?
More like a problem.
You paying a car note that's in his name
That was
for
supposed
a
to be a
gift
gift.
that's not a gift that's supposed to be for your birthday.
You got it, Judge. I'm confused as you.
Let me just say in open court right now, don't nobody gift me nothing that I have to pay for.
Say that
That's
again.
not a gift.
Again, I never gave her that ultimatum to play. She willingly, every month, put up the money to go ahead and pay for it. As much as I willingly put up the money for the rent or any kind of other necessities
Bottom line
that
is
we
you
had.
didn't buy her car. Moving on. What got to the place where you took it back? You broke up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, called it a quits.
You're not going to convince me that what you were doing was so altruistic because you kept the car in your name and you knew good and well that, you know what, I'm going to keep this car in her name. She really wants this car. I'll go ahead and pay the down payment, but I'll keep it in my name. Let her pay on the payments all this year because I know if it don't work out, I'll just take the car back. And guess what? Guess who's already paid down
2 years.
the balance on the car for 2 years? Miss Tucker?
Not entirely, you ma'am.
Entirely.
Well, she paid it. And so when you got it back, you don't even have title. So I don't even understand how you thought you bought somebody a car.
Automatic bill payment still coming out.
You're still paying
They're
for the
still
car?
coming out. The automatic bill payment is still coming out.
You're still letting her pay for the car and you took the car back?
No,
Won't take
ma'am.
me off the insurance either.
She's willingly, as started, she's willingly paying.
How much have you paid to date on the car and where's the evidence?
I've paid $11,493. I have bank statements for the past 2 years.
I'll take all of it.
Alrighty.
I can admit, Your Honor, that she is probably accountable for 7,000 of that.
And why is that, Judge Russell? Do
Because-
you think that she's accountable for $7,000 of that?
Because again,
you tell me.
she did not consistently pay the car note every month.
And
there
where
was months
is the
that
proof
we paid together.
of your payment?
The money is all in her account.
We don't have a joint account.
We don't have a joint account.
My account is my account.
Ooh.
We also share a lease where I am also not on the lease. Another reason why I felt like I didn't need to switch the car over. Because
But y'all ain't
living
in
with
court
her.
over the lease, are you?
No.
No.
You
Okay.
moved in with me. We didn't go find a place together.
Well, this is interesting to me because you put a car in your name for her.
Correct.
She made the payment out of an account that was hers. You testified that you gave her money that she put in that account to make the payment. Is that true or is that not true,
That
Ms.
is
Tucker?
not true. Not at all.
You did testify you were paying the rent, which is
Correct.
not of issue. But it's interesting to me that, I'm telling you, honey, you reap what you sow in this life. Because the car that you took back, you can't prove or disprove that you ever gave her money to put into this account. Where is that? Do you have a Cash App, something where you transferred the money? Do you have evidence of that to show me that you were putting money into that account?
There's going to be nothing, Judge, because he never puts anything in there.
That's not true, Your Honor. Again, through us paying the bills together on a 50-50 split, and at the same time, the money that she receives, it's not like, and I'm not trying to get off the point.
How many payments have come out of this account since you all broke up?
2 years worth of payments.
So 2 years after you've broken up, you're still getting payments taken out?
Oh, as far as when we broken up, 2 months.
So 2 months?
2 months worth of.
And what's the monthly payment?
The monthly payment, I want to say, is about $478.87.
$478.87. And you've made 2 payments since you broke up?
Correct.
And he took the car back?
Correct, in the most evil way that you could do.
And who's driving the car, Mr. Russell, right now? Who's driving the car?
Currently, I'm driving the car, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the only reason why I'm holding on to this car is because this is where the petty wars began. There was a breakup at this party because she saw me leaning into, we're at a mixer, so I was leaning into a female. We was talking, it was music. So I leaned into her, talking to her in her ear. She returned, she made a scene about it. Right then and there, she told me that I needed to get my stuff out of our apartment.
That was my breaking point.
And leave that morning. Didn't give me an ultimatum or anything. And then tried to humiliate me by calling our same mutual friend that
told you should have
linked
called
us up
Tyrone.
together and had them come and meet me at the house to help me move my stuff out.
Coming up.
You got angry because she kicked you out quickly and you took the car back because you were mad.
I wouldn't say mad. It was just like, well, if we're calling this a split right here, then let me go ahead and take the property that's in my name.
Uh-oh. Would
And
that
you
be,
can
hold
keep the
on,
property
hold
that's
on,
in your
Mr.
name.
Russell. Would that be your gift?
We're back with a dispute between Rachel Tucker and her ex-boyfriend, Trevor Russell, over car payments.
And so you
again,
got angry
I'm not
because
from
she kicked you
Pennsylvania.
out quickly and you took the car back because you were mad.
I wouldn't say mad. It was just like, well, if we're calling this a split right here, then let me go ahead and take the property that's in my name.
Uh-oh. Would
And
that
you
be,
can
hold
keep
on,
the property
hold
that's
on,
in your
Mr.
name.
Russell. Would that be your gift? Is that your gift?
Again, it was
Okay,
it was
so
a
that,
gift.
hold on.
It was a
Mr.
gift.
Russell, I'm done listening. This is a waste of my time. And you know what? I hate it because these are the kind of things when people don't understand the law, they don't understand legalities, they don't understand contracts, they don't understand things. You get in these situations and then you get all turned out in these little raggedy relationships and you think you're doing something and you're not, right? Because number one, you weren't married. He was in an apartment that was in your name. Then you so excited to have this BMW, which you really couldn't afford and you didn't need, and you should have just not gotten it in the first place. He's showing out in front of people, gifting you stuff with bowls and keys, but the truth is it's in his name and you still paying the note.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you done fell for the okie doke.
Yeah.
That's what we call it, right? Because you done paid down on his note.
Yes.
You bought him a BMW. The okie doke is he acted like he bought you one, you bought him one, and you're still paying for it.
I thought it was mine at the time when you present a gift.
Well,
to
you
someone,
didn't know.
Well, I know she can't buy it with her
You can't
credit
think it's
score,
yours
so.
if you're paying a note on it because it's truthfully not even really his yet. It's financed in his name, but he will not get the title until he pays the car off. You paying his bills.
Coming up.
When this relationship is over, my relationship with this car is over too. You get it?
We're back with a dispute between Rachel Tucker and her ex-boyfriend, Trevor Russell, over car payments.
He done got you all spun around so tough, you think you paying for a car that's yours, and I don't even understand how you paying for a gift that's supposed to be for you. It ain't enough love in the world, Sean. And this is a great lesson to you.
Absolutely.
Because the truth is, as long as the car is in his name, it's his to take back. You can't legally demand that car because it's in his name. No, because the problem is he didn't give it to you under any false pretense. He didn't defraud you. There's nothing. He said to you, oh, here's the car you've been wanting. I made the down payment, but I still got to make payments. You're making the payments. You did it voluntarily.
It was
You're
really
not
a symbol of
married.
trust,
You're
you
not
know?
tied together. These are lessons, tough life lessons you have to learn as a woman. You should never have been making those payments on a car that's financed in his name without the clear understanding. And I mean, this should have been like writing on the wall for you. When this relationship is over, my relationship with this car is over too. You get it?
Yes.
So with that said, you've made 2 payments since you've broken up. You're not driving the car. It's over back in his name. There's no reason why you should be making, and if the payments are automatic, cut them off. What are we thinking here? How is there 2 more payments coming out of your account? This is ridiculous.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
$57.74. I think my math is right. That's for the 2 payments you've made since he took the car back and you broke up. Stop the automatic payments.
Got you.
And Mr. Russell, you know good and well. Listen, even though the award is going to the plaintiff, you won here. And that is not, you say, you're a man, you fulfilling a need. You didn't fulfill a need. You didn't. And it's disrespectful to women to use and manipulate that way. At least you could have said, coming out of the relationship, you've had the car, I know you've been making payments, I'd like to take the car back because it is in my name. And to be clear, she can't be driving around in a car in your name anyway. Accident happened, something crazy happened, you're liable too. Legally, you do need to take that car back. But you could have at least said to her, hey, you've been making these payments for 2 years. I want to give this back to you. I want to work this out with you in this way. I know you made the down payment, but you could have offered her something. But legally, you're not required to. So with that said, judgment for the plaintiff, $957.74. Ms. Tucker?
Thank you, Judge.
You got to think. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $957.74.
Have anything else to say?
He's a low-down, dirty dog. It's cool.
I mean, she knew what it was, man. She just tried to come up on me. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Like I said, you know what my number is. You know where
Michael Miller claims he was maliciously injured during a high-stakes game of musical chairs. Steven Diaz says his former co-worker was in good spirits after their combined fall, so he needs to let it go.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello. Thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Miller versus Diaz. Mr. Miller, you are suing Mr. Diaz for $632.50 for personal injury you say he caused. Is this correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Diaz, you say that he played at his own risk.
Oh, for certain.
All right. So I want to start with you, Mr. Miller. How did this incident occur?
Thank you, Your Honor. I know Mr. Diaz from work. We used to work at the same retail company, and we worked different shifts, but we had the same circle of friends.
All right.
And so we went to the same party, and at these parties, we have a game that we all throw money into. This game in particular was musical chairs. And we each deposit $50 to get into the game, and there were 10 of us, and so the amount that you get if you win the game is $500. Now, the last time that I played the game,
$500 for musical chairs?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Count you in. I've never done that. Sean said he gonna play. All right.
And so the last time that we played, I didn't do so well, so I was so motivated and excited to win this time and to put my best foot forward here. And as we were nearing the end of the game, Mr. Diaz and I were neck and neck, and as I was about to sit down on that chair, which was right behind me, Mr. Diaz ripped the chair right out from under me. Right out from under me. And he was too tipsy to stay straight up, and so he ended up tripping both of us, and he landed on my ankle, at which point the next day I had to go to the hospital. Sorry, I did tell him later that day, in the evening after the party, that he had injured me, at which point he just laughed it off.
Hold on. let me make sure I remember what musical chairs is. The
Yes.
music plays, you go around, the music stops, and there's only enough chairs for everyone except one person.
Correct.
And the person that doesn't get a seat is out.
Correct.
And then once you stand back up, they remove one chair and close the circle in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why is it that you say Mr. Diaz snatched a chair out from under you? That's not the game.
That's my point exactly. Mr. Diaz right here,
Did you do that, Mr. Diaz?
No, it's a false narrative that's being
So
pushed.
how did it go in your estimation?
Well, I mean, it was neck and neck. We were down to the last chair. However, we both put our hands on the chair. We both put our hands on the chair.
So you're at that last two-step one,
Yeah.
and you go like this to get on the chair,
Yes.
and then what happens?
Well, we both fell to the ground equally in good spirits. That's why this is coming out of the blue.
Pulled the chair right out from under me, Your
Nah,
Honor.
false. Totally
He had pulled
false.
the chair, and that
Totally
caused us
false.
both to trip. He obviously could not have handled his alcohol very well that day because
Totally
he was drinking quite a bit as well.
So if he fell, how did he fall on your ankle?
So he had pulled the chair, and then while pulling the chair back, he had fallen backwards towards myself, at which point he landed on my ankle. Well, he landed on me, tripped both of us over.
Step out
and
in the
on
aisle right there and show me.
how it happened?
Yes.
So let's say that he's right there, and I'm right. Let's say he is me, and I am him. When he pulled the chair out, he pulled the chair, and then because he was so intoxicated, he put himself off balance, and then landed on me, pushing me over, and landing on my ankle when he hit the ground.
Who pulls a chair like that?
That's what I'm saying.
No, we both
It
grabbed the
was
chair at the
absurd.
same time. We both grabbed the chair at the same time and fell at the same time.
All right, so you fall. Let me just think about this. You say he falls. Do you agree, Mr. Diaz, that you fell?
We both fell.
I
at
mean,
the
because
exact
to
same
be
time.
honest with you, I have seen people fall down fighting over the last chair. That's not abnormal, but it's usually because they're both trying to get their butts in the seat.
Coming up,
So you believe it was intentional and not negligent, or you believe it was negligent and not intentional?
I believe it was both, Your Honor.
Lord have mercy.
and later,
But it was the last one, and they sell out fast, so I just decided that I would use my emergency credit card and buy it, and we
Because
could
this was an
discuss-
emergency to get this Halloween decorative piece.
we're back with the case of Michael Miller, who brought Stephen Diaz to court over a party game injury.
Tell me, Mr. Diaz, do you remember falling on Mr. Miller's leg or his ankle?
No, we fell at the exact same time.
Well, that doesn't change the fact you could have fallen on him.
Well, there was a collision, but it wasn't anything that
Did you
stuck out
land
in my
on
mind. Yes, I mean, we both fell at the same time.
All right, and so you were hurt instantly?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you get up and walk away?
I
Or
had
you-
to
He
hobble
did.
away so I could get some ice.
That's false. That's false.
So, Mr. Diaz, you're saying that he wasn't hurt?
Well, he was. We were both in good spirits on the ground. Like everything was fun, and to the point where the mood was.
Oh,
fine.
you laughed.
We
Everybody
both
laughed.
We both laughed.
It was funny.
I wasn't laughing. I was
Were
in
you
pain.
drinking?
I did
He
have
was definitely
some.
drinking.
So you were drinking as well?
Yes.
How many drinks did you have?
I had only a couple of beers.
How many drinks did you have, Mr. Diaz?
A couple of beers.
Oh,
same
they
thing.
lying. Okay.
No, he had his drink full.
They
He
both
had his
lying.
cup
Go
full
ahead.
the entire night.
He was
Next
trying to get me
question.
drunk.
Next question. So you got up and realized, oh, my ankle's hurt. I hop off.
Well, the moment that he landed on me, I felt the searing pain. And so I did feel injured instantly. And I tried letting him know, but he was
Did
just laughing
Mr. Diaz
too hard.
help you up?
No. He was
How'd you
just
get up?
laughing.
We both got up.
I got up on my own using just my other leg because my other one, I didn't know how bad the damage was. I did find out later that I could walk on it just with a lot of pain. And so I did go
So
and I
you
got
went and
some,
got checked out.
the next day, yes, at Lincoln Hospital of Hope. I have the
I'd like to
receipt
see
right
whatever
here.
evidence you have of that.
Thank you, bailiff. And so I did end up incurring the total debt of $632.50 at that urgent care. And so what I'm requesting today is that Mr. Diaz pay the amount that I paid at the hospital.
Because you believe he injured you.
Correct.
You believe it was intentional, or do you believe he was being negligent?
I believe he was being negligent.
And then what duty of care did he owe you? What duty of care do you owe to someone in a musical chairs game?
I believe that it's not the game itself, it's the fact that I was injured due to his actions. And so because of that...
But if he pulled the chair intentionally, then that would be intentional.
Yes.
So you believe it was intentional and not negligent, or you believe it was negligent and not intentional?
I believe it was both, Your Honor.
Lord have mercy. Ooh, it's lunchtime.
I believe that he intentionally pulled the chair, and he was negligent enough not to try and keep himself up straight. He didn't even pay me any mind. When I told him later, in the wee hours of the night, Your Honor, after the party was at an end, I had told him, I said, hey, I got really badly hurt earlier when you landed on my ankle. And what he did, he just laughed and grabbed another drink.
In a very joking way, you said that. I thought it was all a joke.
I wouldn't joke about it.
How do you remember it, Mr. Diaz?
I mean, it happened.
How do you remember him saying, hey, I'm hurt? Like, did you say, listen, I'm thinking about you fall. You've been co-workers for years. You know each other. Okay, you don't help him up, which I think is odd. But if you didn't really know he was really that hurt until he stood up on it, okay, both of your little drunk selves was just trying to get up.
That's exactly what it was.
And if everybody was laughing, which I'm sure they were, there may not have been a moment where you really thought, is he really hurt? But at the point that you realized he was, what did you say? What did you offer?
Well, he never, that night, it was never apparent to me that he was seriously injured. I thought he was, kind of just, we were both, a little tipsy.
We
fell over. We equally got up in good spirits, laughing. And later on, he came on and said, oh, you really hurt my ankle. I thought he was joking. That's why, if I really knew he was hurt, I wouldn't say, stop being a baby, stop doing that. This was all fun and games.
Well, you were playing a game, so that's my point. Exactly. How long did you stay at the party, Mr. Miller, after you realized your foot hurt?
I mean,
the whole night.
I did stay for the rest of the evening.
Whole night.
Oh! So this sharp, excruciating pain that you said you had when you stood up wasn't enough for you to take yourself home?
Well, no, Your Honor. I did stay, and I wanted to make sure I was iced up, and so I stayed, and I kept icing it on the couch that was available at the party.
And it wasn't enough for you to go to the hospital that night?
I didn't know the severity of the damage.
All right, I've heard enough. What's that phrase? Play silly games, win silly prizes.
That's it.
I mean, it's just, that is life, right? I want to understand how this court is supposed to believe that Mr. Diaz was malicious and somehow just pulled this chair out. I do not think it was intentional. I don't even think it was negligent. If you cannot take the heat, stay out the what?
Kitchen.
Thank you, babe.
Thank you, Sean. Don't play these games because you can get hurt. So it's the judgment of this court that you, Mr. Diaz, are not responsible for the injuries. Judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
So what do you think about the verdict?
You tried, and you failed.
Coming up.
She kissed me, and I immediately pushed her off of me, and I said, I'm in a relationship. I'm not about that. I don't want to do that with you. And that's why I told her as soon as I came home. I didn't know that she would call me a liar and a cheater.
Louise Krantz claims her ex-girlfriend owes her for the cost of a Halloween skeleton they bought before they broke up. Dee Siegel says Ms. Krantz is a cheater, so she doesn't deserve the skeleton decoration.
Ms. Krantz, you are suing Ms. Siegel for $340, the cost of a decorative piece.
Yes.
And Ms. Siegel, you say you've already paid her.
Yes.
Okay, I want to hear from the plaintiff. Ms. Krantz, tell me about this decorative piece.
So the decorative piece is a 12-foot tall Halloween skeleton. We're both very fond of Halloween, and we bonded over it while we were together, and we decided that since the skeleton was going viral, we wanted to get it. So I went ahead and purchased it for us, and she did pay me back. But I feel, after we have broken up, I feel like I would like the skeleton or compensation for the skeleton.
When you paid for it, did you both pay half together?
No, I put it all on my emergency credit card because she wasn't with me, and it was the last one. And I know we were supposed to discuss it before we purchased it, but it was the last one, and they sell out fast. So I just decided that I would use my emergency credit card and buy it, and we could
Because this was an
discuss.
emergency to get this Halloween decorative piece.
No, seriously, I felt like it was an emergency, and I wanted it, so I went ahead and got it.
Jump in, Miss Siegel.
Well, we agreed that when we saw the skeleton, we would pay for it half and half, and I have text messages to prove that we had this agreement.
I'd like to see those. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you guys have text messages that say, I saw a skeleton today, and I saw it in person. You know we have to get one. Oh my God, jealous. They're so hard to find. But if we can find one, let's get it, no matter what. If we see one and we aren't together, we agree to snag it. Obviously, if you find one, I'll send you half, or vice versa. Our skeleton son.
Coming up.
You were roommates, or what was going on between you two? Were you dating or were you roommates?
Yes, we were dating.
Okay, and you lived together?
Yes.
We're back with a dispute between Louise Kranz and her ex-girlfriend, Dee Siegel, over a giant Halloween decoration.
So what is the problem?
Well, the problem is that she didn't consult me beforehand, before she paid it, and we had an agreement that we would pay half and half. And so to cover my half of the payment, I decided to pay the half of the skeleton payment I was originally supposed to pay, since she was short on bills that month and couldn't pay her rent, her half of the rent.
So you covered her half of the rent instead of giving the half of the skeleton?
Yes.
So how much was the rent?
It's $1,200 a month. We pay $600 each.
Oh, so you covered a $600 debt that she would have, right?
Yes.
You were roommates, or what was going on between you two? Were you dating or were you roommates?
Yes, we were dating.
Okay, and you lived together?
Yes.
So what's the problem?
Well, there's that, and there's also an incident that happened, and we're more or less fighting for who gets to have the skeleton.
Okay. So let's get to that. Why'd you break up?
Well, over the summer, she visited family back home, and she went out with a bunch of friends, and her ex-girlfriend was there, and they kissed, and she came home and she told me, and of course I was shaken and heartbroken, and I told her that it wasn't going to work out.
Your Honor, she says they kissed like I was trying to kiss my ex-girlfriend, when I really was not. She kissed me, and I immediately pushed her off of me, and I said, I'm in a relationship, I'm not about that, I don't want to do that with you. And that's why I told her as soon as I came home. I didn't know that she would call me a liar and a cheater.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
What about the skeleton son? I can see there's some similarities between real custody disagreements and fights and skeleton son one, because it's always about the two people going back and forth and not about the child. I want to know about the skeleton son. Does anybody have a picture of the skeleton son?
I have a photo, yeah.
Thank you.
It's more like our dad, he's big.
Okay. There he is, or is it a she? It's a son. It's a he.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So this is the skeleton son. Now you're fighting over it because you broke up. You didn't take it with you when you left, so obviously you didn't really want it. You didn't come in here and sue for the return of it. You sued for the money for it. It is for that reason I'm going to give the judgment for the plaintiff for $170, which is the half the value of what was paid for the skeleton son. Judgment for the plaintiff for $170. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $170.
If you would have just talked to me, this wouldn't even be a problem.
I wanted to give you a chance to talk.
You didn't even give me a chance. You literally kicked me to the curb with no warning.
I gave you 30 days.
I don't want to hear it.